Sports Update with Truster Trader. When it matters, get the job done marvellously well by a verified Truster Trader professional.
Talk Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. John Barnes has backed Thomas Tuchel's England squad, especially his decisions not to pick on reputation. The lack of your Fodens, Palmers and Maguires made headlines, but Barnes told H&J he's all for Tuchel's choices.
I use Paris Saint-Germain, I've done here as an example about when they had Messi, Neymar and Mbappe, great players and excited players, but look at Paris Saint-Germain now as a team. And that is why Thomas Tuchel has picked this team without the flair players, if you like. And I'm not saying flair has to go out of it, but it's more about what the team does now.
There's a scandal brewing over football fans who thought they were heading to the World Cup, having previously approved visas cancelled. A number of Scotland supporters say that's happened to them. Kenny Smith spent nearly 20 grand on his trip, but told talkSPORT his visa's now been cancelled and he isn't sure if he can get a new one in time.
I really don't know. I mean, I asked my local MP and John Swinney on Friday to help me out here, and I don't know if they can do anything. I don't know if anyone can help, but right now it's not looking good.
Serena Wiegmann has had her Pep come on you Irons moment as she admits she's hoping for a huge favour from Iceland tomorrow. England need them to take points from Spain as well as to beat Ukraine themselves to top their World Cup qualifying group. Anything less and it's a playoff. Ståle Solbakken, Norway's coach, has branded Scotland and Steve Clarke unprofessional after a training ground friendly was cancelled. They were due to play today, but it was scrapped yesterday because of a few knocks in the Scotland squad. Solbakken says it's unprofessional that Clarke didn't call him, and he doesn't believe the injuries are new. And Fulham haven't given up on keeping Harry Wilson. They've offered the out-of-contract Welshman a new deal after his best-ever Premier League season, but Raul Jimenez is among the players they've released. Meanwhile, Vitaly Mikalenko has signed a new 3-year deal at Everton.
Talk Sport News.
Tech firms have 3 months to activate features to protect children from explicit images, and driverless cars could be available to hail in London as soon as this summer. Sinead's got more at 5:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Spring forwards with Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Most parts will have been drenched by this evening, but drying up in England and Wales. Showers remaining in Northern Ireland and Scotland, but with more rain on the way for the whole country overnight.
This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent.
Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
Coming up today, Tottenham have finally started to get it right. They have had a couple of bids rejected for Jan-Paul van Hecke, but is De Zerbi starting to build a solid side already? I have a terrible feeling that Tottenham are starting to move in the right direction. We'll be asking whether Rio Ngamoa has given Thomas Tuchel a headache. No Palmer, no party for England, so we're discussing whether Chelsea is still the best place for Cole Palmer to fulfil his full potential. And we're going to be joined by Reece and Lauren James's dad, Nigel James. All that, plus we'll bring you our World Cup date and we'll head to LA for a transfer update from Ben Jacobs. This is Drive on talkSPORT and you can get involved. 03717 223344.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm partial to a brioche.
Are you partial to a brioche?
Yeah, trust me. That's the only way forward. Barbecue and that.
Yeah?
Burger, brioche.
You'll always go for the brioche?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, the best buns, man.
You reckon?
Yeah, brioche. Hot dog buns, brioche.
Yeah, always
Bacon
brioche.
sandwich, brioche.
Yeah, that's very sort of European of you, Darren. I didn't necessarily think you give off that vibe.
And why is that? Why,
I don't know.
No, that's what you said now.
I would have never necessarily. I wouldn't have necessarily seen you as a man to go for the brioche.
What do you think I'd have gone for?
Standard bun.
Why?
Standard bun.
Yeah, why though?
I don't know. I just feel like you're.
So you're giving me statements with no.
What's a brioche say about you? Sort of French panache.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a man full of French panache.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm a quarter French.
Fair enough. Now, Tottenham are trying to sign Brighton defender Jan-Paul van Hecke, but are they actually now starting to build a good team?
Corner swung in, 9th minute, right over everybody. Oh, and it's into the back of the net. by Jan-Paul van Hecker.
What's he like to work for, Roberto De Zerbi? He's a fiery character.
Yeah, he is, but he has so much knowledge about the game, and you keep thinking about the game, and it's a bit of different dimension of football, really, when he came in.
Turning towards back to Van Heck, who sweeps his second in on 83. Van Heck this time.
Yeah, that's right. Tottenham have had a second bid rejected for Brighton centre-back Jan-Paul van Hecker. And talkSPORT understands that the Dutch international wants to join his old boss De Zerbi at Tottenham this summer. Brighton CEO Paul Barber joined the Sunday edition yesterday, and he gave an update on the future of his defender.
There's always going to be a lot of interest in our best players, and certainly in the case of John Paul. Again, we've been very clear that interest has been ongoing for a while. It's coming from multiple sources, but yes, we have rejected a bid from Tottenham over the last week or so, and in fact 2 bids. So from that point of view, again, as I said before, it has to be right for us as well as for the player.
Van Hecker does have 1 year left on his deal, and therefore is a natural candidate to be sold by Brighton. He obviously has a pre-existing relationship with Roberto De Zerbi, so this one feels like it makes sense. What do you make of this in totality, Darren?
Yeah, I like what Spurs are doing because I feel like they're building from the right areas. Defensively, they're looking at it because last season they were absolutely atrocious. Certainly, when you look at the league table, I mean, they just about scraped into the in the playoff in the Premier League. I mean, they conceded 57 goals last season, which is not good enough for by any stretch of the imagination. It's awful. So they're building in the right areas. Andy Robertson, of course, is coming. Senesi, they're trying to get over the line as well. Now Van Hecker. It looks like they're trying to build in the right areas, and they're kind of back to front. I like that.
Yeah, do you think they're doing it in the right direction?
Yeah, they are.
Build the defence, make sure that the defence is as solid as possible before you worry about what's going on up front.
They're light years away from Arsenal, but look what Arsenal have done in terms of defensively. Rock solid, which has got them over the line this season. I'm not saying next season Spurs are going to be challenging for the Premier League titles. Absolutely not. But I think at least he's building the right ways. He's addressed the issues, which is defensively. And then when you look at the forward areas of Spurs, yeah, listen, Spurs fans might say they're not good enough. Okay, that's a debate for another day, but they have got attacking options. There are attacking players there. Where defensively, too many times, whether it be Christian Romero, which I'm not sure what's happening with him, Van de Ven, they've had moments where they've been let down. Danso against Brighton, funny enough, where he tried to be too cute with it, got robbed, and then I think it was by Van Hecker, and then he cut it back.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I like what De Zerbi's doing. I really, really do. So, but I like Van Hecker. He was really good for Brighton, and I like the way that he plays in terms of his touches. He can build up from the back. I'm not quite sure he's the most defensive-minded defender, if that makes sense, but then that's the modern game for you. They've got to be able to play out from the back. They've got to be able to take it in quite tight areas, but listen, Spurs are getting their business done early, and I like that.
He's in the Dutch side. He's a Dutch international.
Yeah.
It'd be an elevation on Romero. Do you think that's fair to say?
Do you know what it is? It's Romero when they won the World Cup. He's a good defender, right? But I almost feel like now you just can't trust him because he's made rash decisions, he's made mistakes, and then the whole thing last game of the season not showing up. I think that's an issue that Spurs just don't need right now. Yeah. And I just really like what De Zerbi's doing. He's not a lot of managers and clubs in this situation. They wait, and before it's too late, they're getting their business done early. So at least now, De Zerbi after the World Cup, and even some players that don't get selected for the World Cup, he's got them there early, fresh, to be able to work with these players. So they're going about it in the right way.
Yeah, I agree. It does sound like Tottenham are making the right decisions. I think bringing in De Zerbi was an excellent appointment. Yeah. Like, he's a very good manager. There was no negotiation about that. A really good manager, certainly an elevation on Igor Tudor. And ultimately he kept him up. And now it looks like he's being rewarded. If they end up going into the new season with this back four, Robertson on one side, Porro on the other, with Senesi and Van Hecker as the two centre-halves, annoyingly, that's a really good back line, isn't it?
Do you know what? It is a really good backline. My only thing would be, certainly for Andy Robertson, who's been a top, like one of the best left backs in this country, you'd have to say, in Premier League history. He's been that good, right? There were signs towards the end, I think it was maybe a couple of years ago before they bought Kirkes, where the wear and tear was a little bit there. Like, he was making mistakes, people were getting past him a little bit quick. He wasn't getting up nowhere near as quickly as he was at one point. So I still think if you keep Udogie and him, maybe Udogie can learn off him and get that kind of relationship. But I don't think you can go into the Premier League season expecting Andy Robertson to be the Andy Robertson that was a couple of years ago, playing 38 league games a season, every game.
Yeah, that's true. I completely agree with that. But do you know why I think the Robertson signing is just such a good one? If you think about where Tottenham went wrong, like part of the reason that they ended up in such a threatening position in the league, it's because It's because of the lack of standards in that dressing room.
Yeah, true.
It's far too many unruly players. It's far too many players that don't appreciate that they're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the country.
Yeah, true.
Like, if you think about Romero, the way that he conducted himself, it was so out of order.
Yeah.
I think Andy Robertson comes in and sets a standard.
Yeah, I think so. You're probably right with that as well. He goes into the dressing room and says, listen, this ain't good enough for this football club. And you're right, you need good leaders.
Yeah.
Not only good leaders, you need good people in your dressing room. And again, this is why it makes the Romero decision situation, last game of the season, mind-boggling, because he's your club captain.
Yeah.
And he's acting like that. So if you set that example for the rest of the young lads, they're going to be like, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I just think, for Andy Robertson, great player. I like Senesi and I like Van Hecker. But again, they're just starting to build in the right way. But honestly, Brighton, with their players, I don't know what they do down there, but they find them and they tell me 70 million they're talking about, aren't they, in terms of...
And they'll get it. This is the thing, they get it. It's unbelievable. Like, even if you look, obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan. Think about what they've done.
You got a standing order.
I know, it's unreal, isn't it? You got Moises Caicedo, Marc Cucurella, João Pedro.
Yeah,
they've held on for the price that they want at every single junction, and they've got what they wanted.
Yeah.
In terms of like the running of the football club, what Bloom has built.
Yeah.
It's masterful, isn't it?
Yeah, and some people have said that maybe that model doesn't work, but they get their recruitment, and that's the thing, the algorithms, because that's what he's big at in the numbers. Yeah. They've got their recruitment absolutely bang on, and not only just with the players, with the managers as well. Yeah. Because we had Paul Barber on the show, I think it was even last year or the year before, I can't remember when it was, and he basically come out and said that they've always got a plan in place. So like they've got Fabian Hertzler in charge now. They've got probably a kind of rough, not even a rough guide, but it's how long he's going to be at the club. They've probably got, after a year, all right, let's start assessing what's going to happen, contingency plans of some, because he's only young. If he does really well and goes to the next level, they're ready.
Yeah.
The next one to come in.
No, they've constantly done that. You've got to think of the examples. Like, look at the players that they've had in that midfield that they've constantly flipped and constantly improved upon. I remember when we bought Cucurella off them.
Yeah.
Cucurella was their player of the year. You think you're never going to replace him. You're really going to struggle. Suddenly, Estepinion's there.
Yeah.
Playing just as well, fitting into the team brilliantly. Yeah. And now he's gone to Italy.
Yeah.
They're constantly flipping players. They obviously sold Basuma, didn't they? Basuma went to Tottenham. So
got Caicedo, which is not
Caicedo. No, it's an amazingly well-run club.
Well, you think about they lost Cucurella, they lost Caicedo, they lost Alexis McAllister, they lost João Pedro. They lose players, but it doesn't seem to affect them. They always seem... I mean, I thought Matoma, if I'm honest, would have been the next one to go out the door, but I almost feel like now he might have missed that chance. But the club's wonderfully run. We've spent time down there again, we've been down there. I mean, we went down there, they were flying. They didn't win a game after that for like 10. But,
really?
So I think
that Andy Goldstein, Darren Bent impact.
Yeah. It was a bit of a bogey. But no, I know Paul Barber really well as well. They run that club extremely well, but it's the recruitment.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing at any club. You might have some of the best players, but if you can't recruit players that not only fit the system in the way that you want to play, but the culture. Yeah. I always think you always hear that in football about the culture, and is it that important? I think Brighton have shown you, because you've seen characters, right? So like Basuma at Brighton, I don't remember reading too many reports about him where he was a bad egg. He goes to Tottenham where maybe the culture's not quite what it would be. He's late for meetings, he's in trouble, he's in that. That doesn't happen at Brighton.
No, they're so well run. But look, Tottenham are trying to change the culture. Do you think that what we're seeing at the moment is the Lewis family being proactive? It's sort of the opposite of the Daniel Levy era. Do you think this is the start of a new dawn at Tottenham?
Yeah, I mean, the signs are good. They've got De Zerbi, you said, is a good manager. They're bringing in good players. But I still think they've got a long way to go.
Yeah,
I think there's so many more areas of that team that they need to kind of address. But at least they're getting off to a proactive start. And I think if you're a Spurs fan, that's positive.
Yeah, I completely agree. In fact, Tottenham fans, if you're listening, will you give us a call? We really do want to hear from you on this. Are you happy with the direction of travel? Are you happy with what the Lewis family seem to be building? And are you happy with this proactive approach in the transfer market? Give us a ring, Tottenham fans, 03717 223344. Where do you think Roberto De Zerbi's side could finish next year? And Brighton fans, another big name being sold, but for big money. Does this constant selling worry you, or is it just the process? This is Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent.
let's talk about the World Cup then in a bit more detail. England, of course, touched down in America ahead of the competition. Let me get your views on the squad. Lots of players that a lot of people should have been in it weren't. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Gibbs White, Adam Wharton, Trent, of course, Harry Maguire being another one. What have you made of the squad and the players that aren't going?
All of them players are the real technicians. Adam Wharton, Foden, Cole Palmer, Trent. And Trent. So my opinion personally is the majority of them players should have gone, because I think that holding the ball in a World Cup is the most crucial thing, and being that team. But Thomas has gone the other way. Thomas, you can see he's picked by the team he's picked. It's going to be a sort of low to mid block, and he's going to look for counter-attacking football, right? So personally, I would have done it differently, but I like the fact that he's picked the type of players for his style of football that he thinks going to do it. And like, we're still a week gone from the squad, and we're still talking about the players not there. Almost like, listen, nobody would have picked now 26 players that Thomas would have picked. So we'd all have a disagreement somewhere. It's done now.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent, in partnership with Giacomo, style and brands for every man. Still to come, we'll be asking if England have the best spine at this summer's World Cup. But just quickly, Jose Mourinho is set to be confirmed as Real Madrid's new head coach after Florentino Perez was re-elected as the club's president. Wow. And Paris Saint-Germain could rival Arsenal for Morgan Gibbs White this summer. You see, did I get a wow from you there regarding Jose Mourinho back at Real Madrid?
Back in it, yeah. He's just one of those, isn't he? Big character, and that club needs big characters. But I mean, I wouldn't say he was done because it's Jose. You know what I mean? He's top, but at that level, I thought he was never. I just personally didn't think he was ever going to get Barca or Real Madrid, but that type of level of club. The fact he's gone back in there.
Do you think he's the man to sort this out? You know, these warring factions that you've got at Real Madrid. You've got Mbappe's boys versus Vinicius Junior's boys. Do you think he's the man to unify it?
I don't know if he is, man. Like,
not known for that, is he?
Once upon a time, 100%, right? But I think player power now is such a big thing. That big thing that... What's he going to do? Go into Real Madrid and say, right, Vinicius Junior or Mbappe, you're not playing? I mean, that's...
Yeah, it takes some doing.
Yeah, it does. But listen, if there's a man that can do it because he's earned the right to do it, it'd be him.
Yeah, too right. And what about Paris Saint-Germain? Rivaling Arsenal for Morgan Gibbs White?
Yeah, I didn't know, but I'd heard about the Morgan Rogers one.
Yeah.
But Gibbs White, I didn't know they were in for Gibbs White. So if that is the case, he's had a really
player, class player. Should have gone to the World Cup, undoubtedly.
Yeah, I'm gutted for him because I thought he's had a good season. He deserves it. And the fact that he's not gone there. And I heard Roy Keane talking the other day, and I did think it was a bit harsh when he said, as a player, the guys who have been left out do more at your club. I don't think Gibbs White could.
No, Gibbs White was unreal. Yeah. Scoring hat-tricks to keep his team in the league. It's unreal.
He could have done any more.
No, I completely agree. Real shame. But yeah, Gibbs White to Paris Saint-Germain or Arsenal would be a fantastic signing for either of those two Champions League finalist clubs. Now, we are taking your calls. Are Tottenham starting to build a decent side? Give us a ring, 03717 22 3344. That's the phone number that Richard phoned. Richard, sir, you're live on talkSPORT.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's good signings to start with, but we have seen it all before. You know, we bought a lot of players when Conte was going into his second season and they didn't really work out. But yeah, the signs are good. Let's not get carried away.
I think you're in for Savino as well from Man City. So it looks like you're going for good players.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, the signs are good. The signs are good.
Yeah, it was a great call there, Richard. Thank you very much. We're going to stay with the phone lines. We'll speak to Glenn. Glenn is also a Tottenham fan. How are you, Glenn?
Hello, mate. You guys well?
Yeah, very well. You?
Good, mate.
Yeah, all good. I do think this is a little bit different, if I'm totally honest. You know, when have you ever heard of Spurs actually signing players that anyone's ever even heard of? You know, for every frigging Radu drag us in, and, you know, then they're trying to get Kolo Muani and Timo Werner. It's just been boring every single freaking transfer window. I just feel like the names that, again, albeit, you know, being a smart piece of business for getting them in for a free, looking at like Senesi and Robertson, you know, I was just listening to what you guys were saying a second ago about that being quite a decent back four. Like, if you were to look at the league table based on last season and took those four players, that's got to be top 10 on it at least.
I think they're good signings, and I think they will definitely help. I think defensively, you lot was a shambles last season, right? But if there's one area in the team that you feel you need to strengthen, and I like the fact that he's gone defensive first, what areas do you want to see strengthen next?
Do you know what? I mean, for me personally, goalkeeper. I know
100%.
100%. But, I mean, obviously, Darren, you know, I used to come down and watch you all the time. Was it Robbo when you were playing? Who was it?
I had Robbo and Gomez.
Yeah, I mean... for a reason, because obviously we knew who we had between the sticks was actually worth shouting about. Do you know what I mean? And Kinski's done well, but again, would you really class him as a first team choice? It's like everyone arguing about Matisse Tell. Potential, blah, blah, blah. But all right, if you stuck him in a Brighton or stuck him in a Brentford or whatever else, he wouldn't be first choice there. And then again, Spurs, you know, we tell everyone we're trying to be in the top six, top this, top that. You can't then bring in players that wouldn't get into teams that are, you know, quote unquote below where you're trying to get to.
Do you know what, Glenn? Do you know what, Glenn? Right, and he makes a really good point, Glenn, about the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
because
they need it.
I'm not a big Vicario fan, and Kinski, I felt so sorry from what happened against Atletico Madrid, but I think he's recovered really, really well, and he looks like a decent goalkeeper. I still think Spurs can go better. I still think.
I also it's almost irrelevant. You build this very impressive back line. You bring in players potentially like Savinho. It's all redundant if you don't sort out the goalkeeper.
I think Trafford's the one because it looks like obviously Donnarumma's going to be there, right? And Trafford's going to have another season potentially where he doesn't play, so he's going to have to go out on loan maybe and get games. But if the Spurs can get him for a year on loan,
with a potential option to buy,
you have to get him. You have to get him.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're going to stay with the phone lines. Let's hear what Rodney has to say. Rodney, you're a Tottenham fan as well, right?
Yeah, hello, fellas. Yeah. Very much. I just wanted to comment. I didn't think you mentioned Jed Spence or Van der Ven when you were talking about the defenders earlier. I think that both them boys still have a massive role, especially Spence at the club. I think Romero, for me, has burnt his bridges and needs to go. So I don't see a future for him. And on the goalkeeper point as well, I think Vicario's got to go. I think it's a liability. I think Kinski's done really well since he came back from his setback. I think he's been quality, but I agree we should probably look at another keeper as well.
100%. Again, he makes some really good points there, Rodney, because I think Spurs are again building the right way. Listen, I'm not Van der Ven's biggest fan. Like I've been on him many times. He's not like I think he's good and I think he's exciting because of the pace and the energy. But the reason why at times he's having to bust the gut is because he's in the wrong position. So he's having to sprint back.
Well, with all this in mind, you've got to think where Tottenham have been over the past 2 seasons. I know there's a European trophy in there, but there has been like an abysmal Premier League finish.
Yeah.
If things are going to plan, if they're moving in the right direction, if the Lewis family are now making those decisive manoeuvres in the transfer market, what's the best that Tottenham fans can realistically think of next season?
I think top 10, easy.
Oh, top 10 for sure. I thought you were going to be a bit more optimistic than that.
I think, listen, they finished fourth bottom 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
You can't.
But they are still Tottenham. They're still one of the biggest clubs in the country.
Yeah, but how many times have we said that before about big clubs and then it just hasn't happened? I think if they get the top 10, that's a step in the right direction. But I think equally, the players they're bringing in, which are important, They've got to get rid of a load, man. That's the problem they're going to have.
Yeah.
A truckload of these players have to go the other way.
It's funny, isn't it? You know, when we talk about a transfer window, when we talk about like the best transfer window, teams having a good transfer window, we always focus on the players coming in.
Yeah.
Sometimes a really successful transfer window is making sure that the right players leave.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be Spurs' biggest problem. There's about 4 or 5 players in their squad that need to go the other way.
Yeah.
Before they start. I mean, I like the fact that they're bringing in players, but that there for De Zerbi has got to be just as important. Do you know what? Him, and him.
Yeah.
Away to go.
Yeah, I agree. But Tottenham fans, I think there is room at least for some optimism. It feels like the Lewis family are doing things differently to Daniel Levy, and it also feels like in Roberto De Zerbi, you have a good manager. Get in touch. Let us know what you think. 03717 223344. Now, still to come, we're going to be joined by Nigel James, father of World Cup stars Reece and Lauren. But first, it's time for No Googling in partnership with Mixer.
No Googling on talkSPORT with Mixer, the app that rewards you for watching sport the right way. Down the pub. Download free from your app store now.
Right, we want to know who was the only England player to score in their penalty shootout loss to Portugal in 2006. So who was the only England player to score in their penalty shootout loss to Portugal in 2006?
He's the sort of player, Andy, that you can't really look at age, because he could play at this level for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Do you think that long?
Yeah, I do.
31. You think he could be playing?
Doesn't rely on his pace.
No, he doesn't. But it's very rare you get great players. Can even look at Mo Salah, right? Last season before last was. Yeah, I did look at Salah and thought his pace had gone. His just whole game went all of a sudden overnight.
Yeah, I think when I watched him, he didn't look as quick. But I feel like Bruno Fernandes. Do you know what I mean? You'll find a position for him, even if his legs do go a little bit. He's just that talented. His passing range, mate. Do you know what I mean? Set pieces.
Reported it has a £57 million release clause for European clubs. That means he can't throw him if they go to Man City. Should the likes of Real Madrid be all over that? Is that a bargain?
I would. If I'm Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, any club, maybe not PSG, that they've got a very good midfield. But if I'm Manchester United, I'm saying not a chance. 60 million, 70 million, I'll say no. I feel like he's that good to what Manchester United have done in the last season we just had. And going forward, who are you going to buy to replace him?
Yeah. Well, my view earlier on was get the 57, put 43 to it, and go out and get Elliot Anderson. And then you're starting again because he's a young kid.
Of course, yeah. But Elliot Anderson, Bruno Fernandes, 2 different players.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Do you know what I mean? You need to get Elliot Anderson as well as keeping Bruno Fernandes. And how much money will it cost you if you sold Bruno Fernandes? You might get 57 million, but maybe you miss out on Champions League next season. Point.
Yeah.
So
this was, just to remind you, this was Bruno's quote last November. He said, from the club side, I felt a bit of, if you go, it's not really that bad for us. More than hurting. It makes me sad because I'm a player. They have nothing to criticise me for. The fact that Omar Barada came out and didn't give it the old, yeah, he'll definitely be here. We'd like him to stay. Of course we do.
Yeah, it's very odd because maybe the club might look at it and say, like you says, 31, 57 million. It's a lot of money. You can rebuild with using that money for another player, but I just think it'd be ridiculous. Okay.
Denmark's national team doctor Morten Boesen says Christian Eriksen is doing well and that the expectation is that he will be discharged soon and can return home. The 34-year-old collapsed on the pitch for a second time in his career. Danish football expert Christian Wolny says there's a mixture of sadness and relief.
is a person that everyone respects and that could play for the Danish national team until I think he was 40 if he wanted to. But the incident today probably will be the end of that career.
Former Spurs teammate Andros Townsend says he would advise Eriksen to retire, but that it's hard to know what will be going on in his head. Having also watched England's 1-0 warm-up game over New Zealand, he is excited by how the England forward line is linking up.
Rashford and Watkins were making runs in behind him. They were supplementing Harry Kane more, whereas in the past, I don't feel like we've had the runners off Harry Kane when he has dropped deep to get the ball. So I think that the signs are there that Tuchel knows how to get the best of Harry Kane.
Elsewhere, the MCC has acknowledged that the pitch at Lord's for last week's first test was substandard and that there's no obvious solution. Ben Stokes says the conditions made debutant Emilio Gay's half-century even more impressive.
I said to Emilio that's at the high end of challenge as an opening batter that you're going to be exposed. So you're better off getting it early on so you can understand how tough it is, and for him to make a significant contribution with the bat at the top of the order, I think will do wonders for his confidence.
There's plenty more at talkSPORT.com.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Now, still to come, we're going to be joined by Nigel James, the father of World Cup stars Reece and Lauren. Now, a few moments ago, though, we asked you the first of today's no Googling questions. Who was the only England player to score in their penalty shootout loss to Portugal in 2006? As it's this week of the as it's the week of the World Cup, we're not going to give you the answer today. Instead, we want you to answer the question online at talksport.com/win for your chance to win £500 worth of Mixer app points. The ultimate way to level up your World Cup viewing at your local Stonegate pub. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Find out more at mixer.co.uk.
No Googling on talkSPORT with Mixer, the app that rewards you for watching sport the right way. Down the pub. Download free from your app store now.
Now, though, it's time for this.
It's Kieran Trippier. Oh, it's in! What a start for England! Yes! It's a goal! It's a goal! It's goal! A wonder goal from the Wonder Kids, Lamine Yamal! It's a goal! Boom! He scored twice in 2 minutes, and Kylian Mbappe has turned the World Cup final on his head. Oh! Miles over the line!
Love that. That's right. It's time now for our daily feature, World Cup Day, where we'll be taking a look at some of the latest stories ahead of the biggest show on Earth, kicking off live on talkSPORT on Thursday. Right, we're going to start with Scotland because they were 4-0 winners over Bolivia on Saturday with Shankland, McTominay and Che Adams on the score sheet. Their boss, Steve Clarke, spoke to the media afterwards and he said that he was pleased with their performance.
We worked a little bit this week on the shape of the team. 4-4-2 is a system that we've only recently gone towards with the two strikers, so there's still a bit of work to be done. Some good moments today, but obviously some moments as well that I can see where we can do a little bit better.
A 4-0 win in New Jersey. Like, that's ideal, isn't it, for Scotland?
Do you know what? They were ruthless, and I mean ruthless. Like, watching the game.
4-0 up at half-time.
Yeah, but some of the goals, I mean, Shankland, what a season he's had. I think is he going to Rangers? I think, did I read that he's going to Rangers?
Yeah.
Good signing. McTominay obviously doing what he's been doing for the last couple of years since he left United. Che Adams as well, got a nice little brace. Honestly, I know it's Bolivia, and people can say what they want, but 4-0 half-time, that first half performance, I thought to myself, okay, fair play. And going into a World Cup, that's exactly how you want to perform.
Yeah, like Che Adams getting a couple as well, like ahead of the tournament. They're going to be playing against Haiti, right, in Boston. That's where they open.
Yeah.
That is the perfect preparation for them, don't you think?
Yeah, of course it is.
Ideal. Absolutely perfect.
I mean, again, I know when you play a friendly compared to a World Cup game, the confidence and the nerves are going to be a little bit different. But again, you go into a competition, fair enough, where you've played well, your strikers have scored goals, your midfield players have got involved as well. But I'm looking forward to it. Almost like Haiti, Walton Isidore from Sunderland as well.
They have to beat Haiti. That's the problem Scotland have, because they're very unlucky with a group.
Yeah.
I think Morocco, Brazil, Haiti is a really tough group to get through. Really, really tough. But because of the formation of this tournament now, the best third place teams will go through. A lot of them will go through.
Exactly. So you'll look at they'll look at someone like Haiti, of course, who've got, as I said, Isidore and Bellegarde, who's at Wolves, and they think they've got a great chance. But you play them first as well. You got that's the thing. For Scotland, you play Haiti first, then Morocco and Brazil, because Brazil and Morocco are going to be tough games.
Really tough.
But if you could put the pressure on by beating Haiti, then that's a great start for Scotland. But obviously, I've got to say thank you to Classic Football Shirts for sending me my Haiti jersey.
You got Haiti?
I've got Haiti jersey.
Why have you got them in the sweepstake? Why?
No, I mentioned them on air and I quite like the kit.
Gone for Haiti.
And then they sent it to me, so I will be wearing that. Not against the Scots,
right?
But
will you wear it on that day?
No, I'll wear the Haiti for a couple of shirts.
Any other day. Mate, this is difficult for you, though, because you got a soft spot for Brazil as well.
Listen, that shirt comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shirt there is first. But no, for Scotland, it was brilliant. Really, really good performance.
No, huge there from Scotland. Right, now, let's move on to Lamine Yamal. And it's still a bit of a question mark over his fitness ahead of the opening game of the tournament for them against Cape Verde on Monday. He limped off for Barcelona with 50 days to go until the World Cup with a hamstring injury, and he didn't play a game for his club, but Barcelona insisted that he would be fit for the World Cup. Spain manager Luis de la Fuente has now said he expects Yamal to be fit for the first game on Monday, which is fantastic news, not only for Spain, but for the tournament. You need Yamal fit, don't you? The tournament is a better tournament if you have players like Lamine Yamal at their peak.
Absolutely. I mean, I was there in Germany at the Euros when he absolutely lit it up. I was fortunate enough to do 4 or 5 of Spain's games, and oh my goodness, like I'd heard, obviously you hear about the talent and the ability, but when you watch him close up, Rory, I swear, he's stronger than you think, although he's not really that big. His touch, the way he can change direction, he was brilliant. And you got to think, before he got injured, he had 3 in his last 3, had 2 assists, so he was in red hot form, and then obviously got injured in April. But I think you're right, you need him at the World Cup as well, but Spain need him as well. And I think if he is fit, I'm not sure what the situation is with Nico Williams, but that kind of wide pairing in the Euros, Yamal and Nico Williams, they were outstanding.
If it wasn't the Ballon d'Or, like the official Ballon d'Or, say it was the Darren Bent Ballon d'Or, how high is Lamine Yamal in this list?
Yeah, of course, he's always going to be in the discussion. I think there are certain players, listen, I don't watch La Liga every single week, even though I've got La Liga Plus. I don't really watch that every single week, but I think there are always certain players you look at and go, he'll be in a Ballon d'Or. He's always there or thereabouts. Like that, you put him in that bracket, you put Mbappe in that bracket, Haaland, Kane, Bellingham, Rodri. These guys, I know Rodri's won it, but these guys, whenever there's a Ballon d'Or list coming up, these guys are always floating amongst it.
Yeah.
And Lamine Yamal, when he's at top form, is a serious contender of winning it.
Yeah, beautiful footballer, absolutely. And let's hope that he is fit for when Spain kick off their World Cup. Right now, we're going to talk about Portugal. They were 2-1 winners against Chile in a warm-up game over the weekend, with 41-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo playing the first 45 minutes. European football expert Andy Brassel was on the Trans-Euro Express last night and discussed whether Portugal can carry Ronaldo this summer.
He's fit enough to show the fact that he's the best finisher in the world, really. And I think that's the most important thing for them. So, look, I think that they've kind of worked out, like, again, Fernando Santos worked it out a decade ago, that really you've got to provide Ronaldo with the opportunity to do as little running as possible and just do what he's good at, which is putting the ball in the back of the net. So if they can do that without feeling like they have to go to him all the time, then they've got a chance.
Darren, do you think that Ronaldo deserves to start for Portugal in this World Cup?
Do you know what? This is such a hard one because, right, I was fortunate enough for talkSPORT to do quite a few of the games in the Euros for Portugal, right? And there were times, and don't get me wrong, I know how good he is, right? And I know how good he is. He's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. But it happens to everyone where at some point they start slowing down, right? And you can't shy away from that fact. there were times when he was playing for Portugal where it was like they were playing with 10 men. Now, if you get him the service, I've got no doubts whatsoever he'll score goals because he can still finish. You see some of the highlights from when he plays in the Saudi Pro League. He still could score goals in that. But it's out of possession as well. And you know what it's like in this modern day football. Every man counts in terms of pressing, the system, the structure. So, listen, I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve it because the career that he's had, he absolutely deserves to start. But against certain opposition, you can't have any. Like certainly, if they progress in the tournament, and which I expect Portugal to do because they've got some wonderful footballers, right? You're going to get to a point where you can't have any passengers.
Also, it's a legitimate question now, isn't it? At one point, asking this question would have felt like treason, but I can ask this question now: are Portugal better without him? And I think the answer is yes.
I mean, we don't really know. We haven't got a large enough sample size because this is why he deserves credit because he's never injured. So we haven't seen Portugal for a long enough period without Ronaldo. Since 2006? Maybe even before that. We don't know. Like I'd be surprised. And listen, people remind. Unless he had a serious injury, but I can't remember a time Portugal didn't have Ronaldo for a sustained amount of time. So we just don't know if they can cope or not without him. But as I made the reference before, there are times where he was a bit of a passenger against certain opposition, and the further you progress into the tournament, you can't have passengers.
Yeah,
because people will just utilise that.
Yeah, they begin their campaign. Portugal play Congo on the 17th of June. That's their opening game. Yeah. What do you reckon? Is Cristiano Ronaldo in that starting lineup?
100%. Come on now. Mate, I imagine you're the gaffer.
Yeah, Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, that goes, nah.
But isn't that what he's paid for? Like, look, I don't like a lot of Thomas Tuchel's decisions. I think he's got a lot of his decisions wrong, to be totally frank. I think Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Morgan Gibbs-White, Harry Maguire, all could have gone. And at least some of them should have gone.
Yeah.
But the point of Thomas Tuchel being brought in, the point of Thomas Tuchel being paid the big bucks is to make those big decisions.
Yeah. But he would have never had to make a decision on someone as big as Ronaldo. That's the problem you've got. It's like an immovable object.
Yeah.
Martinez gets hammered by, and whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, for Belgium, wasting that generation of players when they had Hazard, Lukaku was firing, Axel Witsel.
That was Roberto Martinez.
Exactly. and he gets hammered for that period.
Yeah.
I think for this situation, if he was to go to the Portugal, and one of the biggest decisions he makes is to drop Ronaldo, that won't go down well.
Yeah.
And I would liken it to, do you remember when Steve McLaren first got the England job?
Yeah.
One of his first big decisions was he left Bex out.
Yeah.
Remember the uproar?
Yeah.
It would be 10 times worse if
even Ronaldo out.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. Do you imagine if he scores? What would that be? Five World Cups he would have scored in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Did he score in the Euros?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What, never?
No, I'm talking about the last one.
Oh no. No, we'll have to check.
I'll have to check that.
We'll have to check. We're going to finish this section talking about Brazil, your boys.
Woo!
Because they were 2-1 winners over Egypt on Saturday. They played a completely different 11 in the first half to the second half, with 19-year-old Hendricks scoring the winner. Mohamed Salah also played the second half for Egypt. A win for Brazil, but their performance has come in for major criticism. What do you make of them going into this tournament, Darren?
Again, it's Brazil. Do you know what? I almost feel like playing for Brazil is the hardest in terms of expectation, and rightly so. When you win the World Cup more than anyone else, and the footballing background that comes with wearing that yellow jersey, I almost feel like it's just a different level of pressure. So however you play, there's someone's going to say something, right? So it's good that they beat Egypt. Obviously, they've got a tough first game, Brazil-Morocco. I'm doing comms for that, 11 p.m. kickoff. Buzzing.
They just have to get it right.
11 p.m. kickoff. Wow.
Like Brazil not having won a World Cup since 2002. It's just far too long, isn't it?
I thought 2014 would have been the one, but then Neymar, I think did he break his back?
Yes, yeah.
And that was it. But you're right. Since then, I mean, 2006, they had a really good team. Kaká, Dino, Ronaldo. But they ran into Zidane, who had their best, probably one of the best games he's ever had. But it's a Brazil. Even now, they've not won a World Cup since 2002. The expectations around that nation would be they have to win.
Go and win it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like semi-finals, not good enough.
Yeah, and they've brought in Carlo Ancelotti, a serial European Cup winner. They've brought in somebody to win it.
I don't think everyone's too, overall, not everyone's convinced with him, even though we are how good he is.
Yeah.
But this is the pressure that comes.
Well, no foreign manager has ever won a World Cup. You're betting against history if you bet on England or
what you mean in terms of a different nationality manager?
No foreign manager has ever lifted a World Cup for a nation. It's always been.
I think Euros only one, isn't it?
The Euros, I think Greece. That was it. Greece had a German manager.
Yeah.
But in the World Cup, it's never been done.
Wow.
So maybe history will be made if Thomas Tuchel can do it.
Do you think he can?
No.
Okay, there you go.
No, history teaches us about the future, Darren. No foreign manager has ever won it and we sold our principles.
Oh, maybe go. I know, yeah. I forgot about it. You got that theory in you about Tuchel, and that's why he left them players behind.
Maybe I do. Maybe I do. This is Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Next up, we'll find out what Benty's favourite England kit is of all time. You can join the show too. 03717 223344.
I think you also have got to give so much credit to Elliot Anderson, because it's almost like, I still feel it's almost like you could play a Rice at 6, you could play a Bellingham at 8, and then a Morgan Rogers at 10, or Cole Palmer. But because Elliot Anderson has done so well for club and country, now he's nailed that spot.
Yeah,
Declan Rice is just £100 million snip, and then so then now you're talking about Jude Bellingham, either Jude Bellingham or Morgan Rogers. Now, what I would say is, if we are to win the World Cup, I think 2 players, maybe 3, because I chuck in Jordan Pickford as well, have to be absolutely superb. So Pickford, Harry Kane, and Jude Bellingham.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jude Bellingham is truly world class. But the way that the group has gone, and the way that Thomas Tuchel has enjoyed the way that Morgan Rogers has played, I would have no problem at all if Jude Bellingham was on the bench in the first game against Croatia and Morgan Rogers plays in that one. Now, you can argue, and I understand, and people will be arguing, well, in the last couple of months, perhaps Morgan Rogers' form fell off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
In the game against New Zealand, Jude Bellingham's performance in the second half was perhaps better than Morgan Rogers in the first half. But again, I'm not reading anything into the performance in that particular game. I think Thomas Tuchel knows his 11. I don't know what it is, and I'm fascinated to know whether that's one spot for me. The another one is on the left, and another one is who's going to partner Mark Guehi.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rest we can pretty much pick. But in terms of Jude Bellingham, again, he's had a stop-start season at Real Madrid because of injury. But this kid, and he's still a kid, has gone to the biggest club in the world and bossed it. I mean, in his first pre-season...
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Still to come, we'll be asking if England have the best spine at this summer's World Cup. But just quickly, Real Madrid are reportedly set to join the race for West Ham United midfielder Mateus Fernandes. And Feyenoord have sacked Robin van Persie as their manager after just 16 months in charge. Van Persie given a tin tack.
Yeah, it's tough for him, that. Robin van Persie, old Arsenal legend, kind of, although he's a little bit...
Yeah.
The way he kind of left and went to United.
Yeah. He's not too popular in North London, is he?
No, but listen, what a striker.
What?
Oh, my God. Again, a goal popped up the other day. He scored against Liverpool at the Emirates where someone clips him the ball. He takes it on his chest, like going the wrong way, but manages to drag it with his left foot and all in one move.
Yeah. No, he was a sensational player.
Yeah.
He actually gets slightly overlooked, unfairly overlooked. You know, when we talk about, say, the 10 best Premier League strikers of all time, Robin van Persie's name doesn't necessarily get...
Did you put him in there?
I possibly wouldn't, which kind of proves the point.
So you're disrespecting him then?
do you think we should? Do you think he should be held as one of the best, held in that sort of highest regard?
I mean, listen, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. So you got obviously Thierry Henry, Shearer, Kane, Aguero,
Drogba,
Haaland, Drogba.
Is Robin van Persie? Is Robin van Persie a better player overall than Andy Cole? He's not, is he? Or is he?
Technically, probably yes. Not a goal scorer though.
No.
The goals. I mean, Coley was unbelievable. He doesn't get. He
doesn't.
If ever there's a player that gets disrespected, it's Andy Cole. Yeah,
no, phenomenal.
Ian
phenomenal
Wright's in there,
player.
100%.
Ian Wright, no doubt. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Though, as soon as you go top 10, it gets very difficult.
Then you go you've got Fowlers, you've got Owens, Sheringham's,
Jimmy Floyd. The list goes on. Dwight York. It's like the list goes on and on.
Trust me.
But does Robin van Persie make your top 10 very quickly?
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in at 10 because I know we're not doing the list now. So
put him in at 10. Fair enough. Now though, it's time for this.
Dressing room style icons on talkSPORT with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo.
Yes, that's right. It's the time for the dressing room style icons with Giacomo. And each week we've been looking back at some iconic football kits. And with the World Cup just 3 days away, we thought it'd be a good chance to discuss some of our favourite ever England shirts. Benty, what are you going for?
Sorry, I forgot Rooney.
Rooney. Didn't say Rooney.
He's in.
Now, that one you don't need to say. Certain players you don't need to say because it's so obvious.
Yeah,
Rooney and Henry, they're in. Then you discuss the rest. Shearer, then you discuss the rest.
Right, yeah. A couple of England kits. Obviously, I always go back to Euro 96. I love that England shirt. Actually, I even like the away, the grey. But the home shirt was beautiful, I thought. Do you know what I mean? With the badge in kind of in the middle of the shirt, the Umbro kind of collar, like blue and white collar. And then the number was underneath the crest.
Yeah.
I quite liked it.
But do you know what my issue is with that? I'm a very traditional man, Darren. I don't like a central... I don't want the badge to be central. I want the badge on the heart.
What?
Of anything, club or country, I want the badge on the heart.
Why?
Because it's symbolic. Symbolic. It's your heartbeat. I want players to have the badge that they're representing. If you're playing for Chelsea, I don't want a central badge. I want a badge on the heart. I want a badge on the heart and I want a collar. You know these like no collar shirts?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Why?
I think
you are the Grinch, man.
I'm a very traditional man. Put the badge on the heart. Give me a collar.
Yeah, but
do your top button up.
Nah, see, listen, I can work with or without a collar. This particular kit had the collar, but I don't mind. No kit ever no.
You don't mind no collar. Like, round neck.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Nah.
What's wrong?
I'll tell you the best ever England kit. It's almost forgotten, but it is definitely the best. I will always think.
Says who?
Says me. This is the most beautiful kit. I reckon you'll agree, but I think you will have forgotten that it ever existed. Dennis Wise scored for England.
Oh, Chelsea.
Dennis Wise scored for England.
Yeah.
I think it was his debut. He scored against Turkey. We beat Turkey, and Wise is wearing this blue kit. It was a bad time for England. We didn't qualify for the 94 World Cup. I think it was sort of 92, 93, third kit of that era. Blue. Do you remember it at all? Let me show you an image. Completely blue.
You have to describe it.
There we go. Look, it's completely blue. Collar. See it? So it was like Graham Taylor's England team.
Yeah.
But it was an all blue kit. It was the first ever England kit I had. And I don't think we've ever had a better kit than that.
Oh no, it's been
kind of like blue, like Coventry blue.
It's almost like it's not a check shirt, but it looks check because
there's loads going on. It's one of those like snazzy Umbro designs where there's so much going on behind it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, do you know what? I did like England's kit as well. Now, obviously for obvious reasons, people remember it because Beck's got certain off against Argentina. But the 97-98 kit,
that's a good kit.
Where again the badge is in the middle.
Yeah.
The Umbro is above it, and then there's a little bit of writing underneath. But then they had like a red and blue stripe down either side. I quite like that.
There's some great. England have had some great kits over the years.
Yeah, 1990 was a nice kit.
1990 was clean.
Clean. The, badge on the old heart.
Badge on the heart and a collar.
Yeah, England have always had good kits. I mean, when I played, I think it was it was tailored by England, tailored by Umbro. I remember going there, and it was one of those where it weren't just like, what size are you, mate? Extra large, large. You went there and got fitted for the shirt.
Did you?
It was beautiful.
Oh, what? They sort of tailored you?
Yeah, it was
custom fit?
Yeah, it was tailored by England. You went down there, they measured you up, It was beautiful kit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I remember wearing it, particularly in Qatar against Brazil. I think I touched the ball twice. We got absolutely smashed. But the kit looked
Still got it?
Yeah, I'll have
Still got yours?
Yeah, I'll have a few of my English shirts.
Do you treasure all that stuff? You know, from like your playing days, do you have all of that stuff like really well looked after? And
do you know what? Like, probably not as much as I should. I've got a few bits and bobs I do have. But a lot of family members have got a lot of my shirts and bits and bobs. But if anything, you don't cherish it while you're in it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, so when you're in England squad, you almost take it for granted, thinking, well, another one will come. Another one will come. And then when it doesn't, you're like, oh. But when you do look back at it, and certainly when my kids look at it, they'll look at a picture or they'll look at a shirt and they'll go, oh, Dad, what happened in that game? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those feelings, they're nice, really nice moments.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is. And that was all thanks to Giacomo. Head to giacomo.co.uk where they've got brands for every man.
Dressing room style icons on talkSPORT with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo.
So a lot of people are saying that the height is actually central. So you said it on the left.
No, but it's not symbolically central, is it? I don't know where it actually is in the body. But you have, if you say, where's your heart? You say it's here, right?
I would always go central.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah. No, nobody would do that. Everybody knows it. It's like centre left.
It's more centre.
Centre left. There you go. Look, you're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Next up, we continue our World Cup build-up by looking back at England's 1-0 win against New Zealand.
Remember what happened at the Euros?
Yes.
And then we saw the scenes last night. And it was quite harrowing. It was. I mean, it's awful to ever see anything like that. But when it's someone that it's happened to them before and they've made that comeback, thankfully they had the pacemaker fitted.
Yes.
But for me, when I heard the news and then I was watching it on the telly and listening to talkSPORT, the fact that eventually Christian got up and walked off was just fantastic.
Oh, of course.
Right? And I think that was the huge difference. And sorry, Gabby, I just think. My views. Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing he won't be allowed to play in the World Cup, right? That would be obscene, especially with the weather conditions. But I just think sometimes in life you get a little warning, and it's like, I don't know what you believe in, what faith, if you believe in faith or not. But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, you've had that little bit of fun in the sun, right? And this is a warning. Your family, your kids, and your health are more important than anything else on the planet. And maybe now it's time for Christian just to stop, is my view.
I agree that there's more to life than football.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously loves football, fantastic player, but he's had a great career as well. He's in his 30s now. He shouldn't really be putting his body through this anymore. But it'd be interesting to find out, Andy, from like an expert, that would he be okay if he wasn't playing football? Could it still happen? Do you know, like, is it because obviously his heart rate's getting so high playing football? Is that what's bringing it on? It'd be interesting to know the details.
Yeah.
Because it can happen when he's sitting at home.
Yeah.
Is a scandal brewing over football fans who thought they were heading to the World Cup having previously approved visas cancelled. A number of Scotland fans say that's happened to them. Kenny Smith spent nearly 20 grand on his trip, but told talkSPORT his visa's now been cancelled and he isn't sure he can get a new one in time.
I really don't know. I mean, I asked my local MP and John Swinney on Friday to help me out here, and I don't know if they can do anything. I don't know if anyone can help, but right now it's not looking good.
Elsewhere, it seems Christian Eriksen's future as a professional footballer will be down to him. His second on-pitch collapse has led to speculation he may retire, but experts say the success of the device that re-regulated his heart yesterday suggests he could carry on if he wants to. Professor of Sports Cardiology at Manchester Met University, Anil Malhotra, told us Eriksen must consider he does appear to be in a particular minority of people.
Exercise is obviously very good for you. It's one of the best things you can do. But in a small number of individuals with certain underlying heart conditions, intense exercise can sometimes increase the likelihood of abnormal heart rhythms.
Now, you may remember Pep's "Come on, you Irons" moment. Well, now it's Serena Wiegmann's turn.
Football's unpredictable, and of course, beforehand, everyone will think that Spain will win that game. But we have seen so many unexpected score lines. Of course, I'm hoping for that.
That's the Lionesses boss backing Iceland to get a result against world champion Spain. If that happens, England can go back to the top of their World Cup qualifying group, meaning they would avoid a playoff by beating Ukraine. Now, ex-England captain David Gower says Jofra Archer doesn't merit inclusion in the team for the second test with New Zealand. He's told talkSPORT he was too impressed with the attack at Lords to make changes.
I mean, they all bowl well. It makes Ollie Robinson look like the finest bowler ever to play Test cricket. And likewise, Atkinson, another five-for. Tongue bowled beautifully. Stokes hardly needed. The spinner completely redundant.
And Declan Rice is officially England's vice-captain for the World Cup. Remember, you can hear England versus Costa Rica, their final warm-up match before the tournament begins, live on talkSPORT on Wednesday.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent.
Je m'appelle Birmingham.
Still to come, we'll be asking if Cole Palmer needs to leave Chelsea. The correct answer to that one is, of course, he doesn't. But now, we need to know, do England have the best spine at this year's World Cup?
Kane, 1-0 England. And he scores on American soil.
He's in the best condition of his career. I think moving to Europe, I think it's made him a better player, more educated about the game, more educated probably about himself.
Shaw firing it in. Bellingham! 1-0 England.
Bellingham has got experience. Already played in 3 tournaments. This is his 4th tournament.
Rice coming forward. Right-footed effort. Oh, and he's in. And that'll be that.
The dog of war, the warrior, the leader, the elite performer.
Yes, that's right. Declan Rice will be England's vice-captain at the World Cup this summer, with Harry Kane, of course, going into the tournament as captain once again. And in the second half of England's win over New Zealand on Saturday, Jude Bellingham was handed the armband. Thomas Tuchel spoke to talkSPORT afterwards and explained his reasoning for making Bellingham captain.
Well, he had the most caps, so he was the captain in the second half. He had the most caps of all these guys. We were a very young team in the second half, and that's why he was the captain.
At 22, that's incredible, isn't it? And then talking of
he's in good shape. No, he's in good shape. You can see that that after his injury, he's actually like in the sweet spot at the moment, and feeling good for him. He had this break. Unfortunately, the break for him personally with the injury, but you can see that he is in good shape physically.
Darren, there's obviously something symbolic about Thomas Tuchel giving the captain's armband, the England captain's armband, to Jude Bellingham. There is, however, a lot of conversations about whether people believe that Jude Bellingham will actually start for England when it most matters.
He's starting.
You think?
100%.
What, no conversation, no jeopardy, nothing?
Nope, he starts. I just think for Jude Bellingham, I get it. Morgan Rogers has been brilliant this season, although slow start, then he was untouchable, then had a bit of another dip, but then listen, he's been a top player, Morgan Rogers, right? We've seen Bellingham so many times for England where we've needed something. He's been the one to pull us out of the fight.
Oh, but that's never the debate, Darren. People would never ever say that Jude Bellingham isn't the main man. Like in terms of big moments, he's almost unrivaled in this England team. I would. I personally would. I'm with you.
I just think it's a media.
But Tuchel hasn't always liked him. Tuchel hasn't always built a team around him. Tuchel has actually. Do you remember there was that issue? Do you remember he had to apologise because his mother called Jude Bellingham disgusting or called his behaviour disgusting.
I think about arrogant. Yeah, I get all that, but I think when the rubber needs to meet the road, you lean on someone like Jude Bellingham. Do you know what I mean? You lead on him. So I think, listen, I would try and get Morgan Rogers in there maybe from the left, but Bellingham's going to start. And I like one thing about Thomas Tuchel I've always liked, certainly since he got the England job, he's always been incredibly honest as to why he's made certain decisions. And him saying there, because again, we're all, oh my goodness, Bellingham got the captain for the second half, so maybe he's the vice captain. Oh, that means he's going to definitely play. He's got the most caps. He's probably got the most experience. So that's probably why he had the armband. But listen, I think too much is made about whatever Jude Bellingham does. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes you need to just kind of just let it lie. Let him do what he does, which is play very, very well for his country.
Declan Rice is going to be vice-captain.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously, that doesn't really mean anything. There's no such thing as a vice-captain officially. This is just something symbolic that happens within the camp.
But Declan Rice is the vice-captain, but he's almost a leader. He doesn't wear the armband at Arsenal. But I think you pretty much know, watching him this season.
Yeah, de facto.
He's the leader.
Yeah.
Of that dressing room.
Yeah. Do you think Bellingham will see that as a snub? Has he been snubbed as vice-captain?
Well, it depends what his almost attitude is towards it. I mean, I played with great players, right, that didn't really care. They were the best player, but didn't really care whether they're captain or not. Bellingham might be doing that now. I get it. It's a little bit different if Harry Kane goes off and you're all of a sudden leading your country at a World Cup. That's different. But I think so much has happened to him, Jude Bellingham, in such a short space of time. And again, me and Andy used to talk about this. When you think about his debut for Birmingham, 15, right? And what is he now, 22, 23, Jude Bellingham? He's been at Birmingham, Dortmund, Real Madrid. I feel like I've almost and he's been to 3 tournaments. Yeah. I feel like we've missed a period of something because he's been that good for such a long time.
No, I love Bellingham. I'm completely with you. I think that you should build a team around Bellingham. I think he's actually the kind of guy that is capable of winning England a World Cup. I also think he's the kind of guy that, you know, that arrogance that comes with him that people don't like. So, for example, when he scored that goal in Gelsenkirchen and then he says, "Who else?"
Yeah.
You kind of like, people get annoyed about that, and you kind of like, well, Harry Kane is someone else that could do that. Phil Foden was in that squad, maybe he could do that. But Bukayo Saka did it against Switzerland in the same tournament. But they didn't do it in that moment. Jude Bellingham's allowed to say who else. All the best players have an arrogance, don't they?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's because he, you know what it's like, certainly in this country a little bit, where we build players up to the point where they're like, oh my God, and then we want to tear them down. Jude Bellingham, I feel like he skipped about 7 steps and just went straight there. Real Madrid won the Golden Boy in terms of best player in the world. And all of a sudden now, people expect. And all of a sudden it's like, no, he's not good enough. Shouldn't be in the team. I just really, really believe that he's a top quality operator. I think he can play at the highest level. He's already won a Champions League. He's won countless individual awards as well. I just think you need, and also pressure at a World Cup, it's different.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, watching from afar, it's different. And there are certain players we've seen, good players, go to World Cups and shrink. He doesn't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
No, he never lets us down. When we most need him, he shines. Like, people talk about the previous tournament in Germany that didn't necessarily go to plan. He still scored the winner in the opening game, kept us in the tournament. I think he is our player that turns up. He is our guarantee.
Do you know what it is? The problem we've got, and we have the same discussion about Harry Kane. Now, me and you will sit here and have about how good, and we know how good he is, right? There will be people that message the show, that call the show, that will swear blind, nope, he's overrated. Harry Kane just scored over 60 goals a season.
Yeah, I can't have that.
And their reasons will be, and there's an argument for it, it will say when it matters the most, he is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. Jude Bellingham's the opposite of that, though.
Exactly.
Jude Bellingham's the opposite of that.
So
yeah, I'm with you. I was actually listening to Breakfast earlier, and Andy Goldstein doing a stellar job on there.
Who's that?
Andy Goldstein, I thought he was doing a stellar job, but they were having a conversation about the spine. Not necessarily the spine, because they kind of start at the midfield, but like the heartbeat. Do you think Rice, Bellingham, Kane, as a central spine / heartbeat, is the best at the tournament?
No.
Andy disagrees with you.
Yeah, no, I don't. Because again, I've never known a spine start halfway down.
Yeah, but it suits the argument to start.
Yeah, they don't.
If you start at the back, maybe we don't have the best.
No, because I mean, listen, I look at there are so many different teams. You can even go. Like, let's go France, for instance, who are my favourites to win it. You've got Mike Mannion in goal now. You might think he's okay, but you've also got Saliba, Upamecano.
Yeah.
As centre halves, right? Now, Upamecano, I'm not sure, but they're two good centre halves, right? Even Konate, if you want to put him in there.
Yeah.
Then you go to the middle of the park. You've also got Tchouameni.
Yeah.
You've got Kante still knocking about.
Yeah.
Right? Shirky can play in that 10. Then you've got Mbappe up top. You've got Dembele, Elise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'm inclined to agree with you on
yeah.
that. Yeah, I am. What did you make of, obviously, that game against New Zealand? Wasn't the most enthralling game I've ever watched, No. It was trying, but the jewel in the crown of that performance, Rio Ngamoa.
Yeah.
He came on and he was England's best player by a distance, but Thomas Tuchel can't call him up as he wasn't part of the 55-man squad. With this in mind, do you think Tuchel has made an error? Do you think it's embarrassing for Tuchel that Rio Ngamoa, a player that wasn't in the initial 55, is England's shining star in a game ahead of a tournament?
Yeah, I say yes or no. A little bit for Thomas Tuchel. He's probably thinking, well, I didn't see that particular performance coming, but I thought he was absolutely outstanding the way he went past people. But again, there's an element of freedom that he could play with because the pressure's not on him because he knows he's not going anyway. So regardless what happens, he's in a win-win scenario because if he doesn't play well, people go, well, he's only 18, so he's got time on his hands. If he does do well like he does now, people are saying, Thomas Tuchel, you've made a mistake here. But, I mean, the future looks bright because he looked...
Easy for him, wasn't it?
Easy from going past people, confidence,
easy,
energy, end product as well, no fear. He reminded me a little bit of Bellingham when he first came in.
But everything that you've just said there, that's the kind of thing that I feel like can win you a tournament. No fear, breezing past people, not overawed at the occasion.
I always go back to Michael Owen in 98.
Yeah.
Or I go back to
Rooney
2004.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys come in, no fear whatsoever. Because they're so young, they've got time on their side. So anything they were doing at that point was a bonus. And I almost feel that's what Rio Ngamoa could do. But the fact now you've seen it and everyone's seen it, Thomas Tuchel's like, okay.
So what I don't understand with Tuchel in this situation, he's done himself no favours because what's the point in playing a player that if the player shines, you can't call upon anyway?
Yes, maybe it's a bit of experience, but I'm not quite sure then was the time for that. But if Thomas Tuchel, I said that he makes certain decisions that he'll understand, but that was just one. But Rio Ngamoa, I mean, the performance he put in, you go...
Yeah, player.
Top quality.
Serious player. And obviously, we want to hear from you next. 03717 22 3344. Do England have the best spine at the tournament? Do you believe that England are capable of winning this tournament? And has Thomas Tuchel given himself a bit of a headache by playing Rio Ngamoa? Give us a ring, 03717 22 3344. This is Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent.
A lot, actually, has been made of Jude Bellingham and his role in this World Cup. Many thought Thomas Tuchel would give him the captain's armband in the second half, and that meant he's back in favour. However, he's actually facing a fight to make the starting 11. After I mean, I'd be stunned, but Thomas Tuchel said this after the game about Bellingham. He's one of the starters. He knows he's one of the starters, but we have 14 or 15 potential starters. Yeah. These roles can always change, but at the moment, I think there are like 14 or 15 prepper starters, and Jude is one of them. Would he say that about Harry Kane?
Yeah, but I think he's right, though. Everyone's looking for a story here. Bellingham's not going to start. So what? Bellingham has got experience. Already played in 3 tournaments. This is his 4th tournament. 3 goals, 2 assists in major tournaments. He's got the experience. But if he doesn't start, so what? It's not a big deal. Morgan Rogers has been in outstanding form for Aston Villa. And I'm sure by the end of the tournament, whenever England go out, if they win it, Jude Bellingham would have played a big role. But if he does start, he knows he's got to be at it. Because you've got someone like Rodgers and Eze who are there to try and take your spot.
You say it's not a big deal, and I agree, it's not a big deal.
Not for me.
But you want your best player starting, and I would say Jude Bellingham's better than Morgan Rogers.
Of course, yeah.
What happened there?
Different players for me. I like Jude Bellingham, but I love the way Morgan Rogers. He's running better.
If you're going to pick one in out of 10, who are you picking?
I can't call it.
Why?
I think they both offer something different. In certain games, you'd have Bellingham. In certain games, you'd have Rodgers. But Bellingham could start against Croatia, and what if he's quiet?
Yeah.
Rodgers comes on. plays out of his skin and has a good performance, starts the next game.
It's a nice problem to have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What I like about Thomas Tuchel is the fact that, and you've got to keep footballers on their feet. You can't,
on your toes.
in theory.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
Listening to talkSPORT Drive with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent, in partnership with Giacomo, style and brands for every man. Still to come, we'll be asking if Cole Palmer needs to leave Chelsea, but just quickly, PSG could rival Arsenal for Morgan Gibbs-White this summer, and former Liverpool striker Divock Origi has announced his retirement at the age of 31. Now though, we're taking your calls. Do England have the best spine at the World Cup? And why did Tuchel play Engamoa? 03717 223344. Let's go to the phone lines now. We're going to speak to Dan. Dan is an Evertonian. Welcome, Dan.
Hi, gents.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. On my way home from work, so couldn't be better.
Have you got World Cup fever?
A little bit. I mean, once it started to get really into it, but I'm not really one of those ones to follow it in the lead up too much.
Right. You've been following this debate about the spine, the heartbeat of this England side. Where do you sit on it?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Goldstein and Gabby this morning about it as well, obviously with the debate about Bellingham and yourselves. For me, Bellingham has to start, but not necessarily instead of Rodgers. I think if you were to play Bellingham instead of Anderson, and he was in the spine with Rice and Kane, I think it gives you more options because Bellingham's a bit of an all-rounder. You know, he can do everything, and he's a workhorse, so don't know why you wouldn't have him in the centre mid rather than a 10. He's not a flair player, so for me he's more of an 8.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. What about Morgan Rodgers? Does Morgan Rodgers make your starting 11?
Yeah, I mean he's in form, isn't he? This has been the problem in the past. Tried to square pegs round holes. Why not play the players that were in form? You know, when Rodgers is one of those, he's positive when he goes forward. He's not one of these players that backwards and sides. He gets at people, and they're the type of players you want. They're few and far between nowadays, so why would you not play him?
Yeah, I completely agree, Dan. That's an excellent call. It really is. Let's stay with the phone lines now. We're actually going to stay on Merseyside. We're going to speak to Carl, who's a Liverpool fan. How are you, Carl?
Good evening, guys. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, very well.
Good, thank you.
Very well. Where do you sit on this debate?
I'm a bit with Benji. I don't think we've got the best spine at the World Cup, but we've definitely got one that could potentially win it. My call is more on the Rio Engamoa thing. I think he has sort of dropped a bit of a bomb for playing him, but I'm glad as a Liverpool fan he has, because it's shown Liverpool supporters that he can play on the right-hand side just as well as he can play on the left. Why do we need to go and spend £120 million on a foreign player to come in to replace Salah when we can use that money to potentially, I'd rather go and spend that money on somebody like Elliot Anderson. If we're going to sell McAllister or people are going to leave, I'd rather get Elliot Anderson in and spend money on him and potentially bring in Nunes back on the free and play young Rio on the right wing. He showed he was the best player. And he played our position that he's not played in that position all season for Liverpool, and he just took to it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely agree, Carl. That's a really, really insightful call. Now, we have some breaking news. Toby Gillis from talkSPORT News Desk has joined us in the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Rory. I need to stress that this story contains allegations of a sexual nature. So if you have young children listening or it's something you don't want to hear, then maybe you want to switch off for the next 6, 7, 8 minutes. This story relates to the current West Ham and former Birmingham City owner, David Sullivan. Over the weekend, it was widely reported that the Times and BBC Panorama had been jointly investigating Sullivan and will be releasing a story today. In response, Sullivan stood down as West Ham chairman and says he will fight what he calls these false allegations. We can now explain the Times' story, which lays out historical accusations of sexually exploitative and predatory behaviour by 7 women against David Sullivan. The claims date back to the 1980s, when he was the owner of the Daily Sport newspaper, and Mr. Sullivan does still own the Sunday Sport. The allegations include claims that he abused his power as a media mogul by pressurising them into sex when some of them were in their teens or early 20s. Many of his alleged victims were former models who claimed they were told he would fast-track their careers in return for sexual favours. The joint investigation also reveals that Sullivan admitted paying for sex with a teenage girl that he believed to be 16 or 17 in the 1990s when he was in his 40s. That has since been made illegal, though it was not at the time. Those are some of the allegations that you can read about in the Times right now. And earlier I spoke with one of the reporters on the story, Charlotte Wace, who began by telling me more about the allegations.
Previously, David Sullivan was a very successful figure in the adult entertainment industry. So he started out selling glossy prints, moved on to his own magazines. And in his late 20s and early 30s, he had this very fast-growing, increasingly explicit pornography empire. And so he had adult magazines, including Playbirds and Parade. He then went on to launch the Sunday Sport and followed by the Daily Sport. So these were tabloids that became notorious for running made-up stories. So things like planes being found on the moon and aliens turning a boy into a fish finger. But sex was the main selling point. So the papers were filled with photos of topless women. So lots of kind of glamour stars, page 3 models, that sort of thing.
And that's all relevant, of course, because it's in his role as a newspaper boss rather than any specific link to football that the allegations that the paper and BBC Panorama are bringing now. Can you just give us the basis of these allegations?
Yeah, so we are including accounts from 7 women, and they were all models or aspiring models who met David Sullivan through his ownership of the Daily Sport and the Sunday Sport. So just to sort of explain a little bit about these women. So one woman who we were calling Florence said she felt forced to have sex with Sullivan at his home in Essex when she did not want to. Several who shared their accounts accused Sullivan of abusing his power to try and get models to have sex with him. One claimed he offered her preferential treatment if she would be one of his special friends. She says that when she refused his advances and tried to leave his house, or tried to leave the bedroom, she says she found the door of the room they were in was locked. Another claimed Sullivan instructed her to strip to her underwear before telling her, if you want to get anywhere in this industry, you need to sleep with me.
And some of the women that have brought these allegations at the time were younger than 18, weren't they?
Yes, so we have included the account of someone who was 17 when she appeared in the paper. She said that around that time, that Sullivan, who at that point was more than 30 years her senior, approached her at a competition and said he could make her a star if she gave him oral sex or words to that effect. She says she declined his offer. And separately to that, we can, as part of our reporting, we can reveal that Sullivan has previously admitted having a sexual relationship with a 16 or 17-year-old in the 90s when he was in his 40s. And in 2003, paying for sex with a 16 or 17-year-old was made illegal. Obviously, it wasn't in the 1990s.
Can you talk to us about the investigation that you have been involved in. What's it been like? How long has it taken? And what have you learned about the character that is David Sullivan?
So this investigation has been going on for 2 years, and I stress it's a really big sort of team of reporters that have worked from this, both from the Times and the BBC. So a real sort of team investigation, and certainly we felt it was fair to describe this as pattern of behaviour that we sort of found as we continued our research. And it sounded to us as if it was quite well known. So, for instance, one former model agent said it was not a secret. Everyone knew if you wanted to get in the paper, you had to have sex with David. It was common knowledge. This agent claimed he would pre-warn models about what might be expected of them. And then looking back, the agent said it felt mucky and uncomfortable. Obviously, we were approaching dozens of people who had featured in the newspapers over the years, and sometimes when reporters contacted them, the models would know exactly why, or have a good idea of why we were getting in touch, and they might, in some instances, raise Sullivan's name actually without us doing so first.
Before we get on to some of the sort of football authorities and, of course, West Ham, which we do have to mention, there have been 2 police forces involved in this in the past. What happened with them?
So Essex Police and the Metropolitan Police are understood collectively to have received disclosures about Sullivan's contact from at least 8 women over the years, but should stress that Sullivan has not been charged in relation to their allegations, and there have been some instances where Essex Police has sought advice from the CPS and has made the decision not to take further action. We are aware that people have made these disclosures to the police over the years.
And of course, it does beg the question about what football knew about these allegations. And the FA, I think I'm right in saying, have had an investigation into his alleged conduct.
Yes, the FA have previously launched a safeguarding inquiry, sort of based on allegations about Sullivan, which we have been told.
That was the Times' Charlotte Wace explaining some of the details of their joint story with the BBC's Panorama. A reminder that 7 women make allegations of sexually and exploitative and predatory behaviour against David Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan says he categorically denies all the allegations. He said he will not be making further public comment at this stage and reserves all legal rights in relation to any false or defamatory allegations. He stepped down as West Ham's chairman at the weekend, saying he'll focus all his energy on fighting them. And of course, the delicate legal nature of this story means there can be no commenting on it, which is why Rory and Benty will now take over again on Drive on talkSPORT and focus on other things.
Thank you very much, Toby Gillies. The full story is on the Times app now. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll discuss the head to Orlando and LA with just 3 days until the World Cup gets underway.
He was brought in to win the World Cup. It is all or nothing. You either win the World Cup or you don't. Now, actually, it might be black or white for a lot of people. I think there's a little bit of greyness in there. If he gets through to the semi-final and loses unluckily against Argentina or Portugal for some reason, or gets to the final as well, I think that's okay in these conditions. But there will be a lot of people who will say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't take Cole Palmer, Morgan Gibbs-White, Harry Maguire, Lewis Hall. You know, you made these decisions with the Arsenal boys. Do you know what? It's all about winning football matches now. And in that sense, even though I haven't been in total agreement with him, I'm behind him.
Thomas Tuchel all the way for Scott Minto.
Not quite.
What's the minimum then? I know you said he was brought in to win the World Cup. What's the minimum that he has to achieve for you?
Do you know what? So for the 2022 World Cup, I thought, you know what, we got a real good chance here. And Hugo Lloris said if Harry Kane had stuck that penalty away, England would have beaten us, and who knows what would have happened after that. The 2024 Euros, I thought going into it, I thought we've got a great chance here, and we kind of laboured our way through to the final. Genuinely, with this competition, I've got no idea. Because we could easily get to the final, because I think we are one of the best teams, and we could evolve as the tournament goes on, but then there's half a dozen who could as well. Or we could play Mexico in Mexico City with the heat, humidity, altitude. Graham Souness once told me, he was captain of Scotland in '86. He said, your body does three things in the altitude. One, you can handle it. Two, you struggle. Three, you're absolutely gone. You can't even make a sprint. And he told me that he couldn't even make a sprint in the altitude of Mexico. So there's that in itself could be a very, very difficult game. I would say semi-finals of a World Cup. But then people turn around and say, well, that's what Gareth Southgate did. So you've got to do better than that. I think these conditions are going to be very, very difficult. That's not to say we can't win. I think that we've got more chance of winning the Euros here in 2 years' time. But then where is Harry Kane going to be in 2 years' time from a physical point of view? So let's think about the here and now.
Who's going to be taking over from him? We don't know that one yet.
We can win it, but they're not my favourite.
A top cardiologist has told talkSPORT it's not yet clear whether or not Christian Eriksen should now retire. That's following his second on-field collapse of his career yesterday.
Historically, doctors were very keen on telling patients what to do, whereas I think now there's been a change in autonomy, and quite rightly so, to take into account the number of factors, including the patient wishes, including his cardiac status, including the choices of those around them.
That's Professor of Sports Cardiology at Manchester Met University, Anil Malhotra. Denmark's national team Dr. Morten Boesen says Eriksen is doing well and that the expectation is that he will be discharged soon and can return home. Former teammate Andros Townsend says Eriksen's unique mentality needs to be taken into account.
Nobody knows what goes on inside the heads of anybody, let alone a footballer who's worked so hard to get to where he's got to, who's almost died on the pitch and he's come back to play for Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So it's difficult to know what's going on in his head. But yeah, of course, at the moment, there is more important things to think about.
And Steve Harmison says England deserve credit for the character and adaptability of their performance on a terrible Lord's surface against New Zealand.
Players were getting hit in the gloves, or a couple of people got hit in the shoulder, and a lot of balls kept low. When it's like that, it's dangerous to the players as well as Test cricket.
There's plenty more at talksport.com.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll have some fun with the best of talkSPORT, but for now, with just 3 days to go until the start of the biggest show on earth, what does it actually take for a player to make it at this level? We are delighted to be joined by a man who has raised 2 World Cup stars, including England's starting right back this summer. Father of Reece and Lauren James, Nigel James is supporting Play Their Way, a national campaign funded by Sport England, which is calling on coaches to adopt child-first coaching to give children more positive and enjoyable experiences of sport. And we're delighted that he joins us now. Good evening, Nigel.
Hey, Rory.
How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Great. Nigel, you're speaking to us from an event with Play Their Way at your academy in Wimbledon, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Brilliant. And can you tell us why Play Their Way is so important? What is it all about?
Well, it's something from a very young age. I've always encouraged Reece and Lauren to enjoy their football above everything else. Play Their Way campaign and Child First Coaching does exactly that. So, you know, it's all the kids that's coming to us just to really express themselves and enjoy the environment and their football.
Now, when you look at Reece and Lauren, they've both got to the very, very top. I mean, they're 2 absolutely outstanding footballers. Do you think a lot of that was down to the way they were coached when they were younger?
Yeah, I would say the coaching, the environment that we sort of set for them, the discipline, the love for the game, their personality. They sort of like was, you know, they trained with myself. They went to the park where you don't really see much children doing that anymore and played with friends. So when you're talking playtime, their playtime was developing with friends down the park.
And have you seen a big change? Because I always go back to when I was younger compared to now. The coaching's completely different. And even the way that certainly my old coaches when I was younger used to speak to me compared to the way kids are spoken to now. Have you noticed a big change in the coaching? And also, what kind of impact do you think that has?
Well, what you have now, everybody's like an expert at coaching now. It's that's the worrying thing about it, that everyone, you turn to every corner and everyone's either doing one-to-ones. And when you're talking one-to-ones, what a lot of kids are doing now that you see, Reece was someone that really didn't, one-to-ones didn't really connect with him. He needed to sort of be in an environment where he could sort of like play and enjoy himself. And then you sort of got the best out of him. If you were someone was trying to tell him what to do at a very young age, that would have probably done the opposite and maybe would have turned him away from football. So the enjoyment and what he got out of it and the environment that was set for him, it was key for him to enjoy and keep expressing himself.
Nigel, then I've got to ask you about Reece because we know by trade he's a right back, but when you certainly watch him play, and I remember his year on loan at Wigan, he's obviously naturally a very good footballer who could play in a number of positions. How did he end up then playing at right back? Because he could easily, comfortably play centre midfield, wherever he really wants to play. How did he end up being a right back?
So from a very young age, he's played as a centre forward. When he used to come and play games like in the holidays for me, I always sort of like played him like in defence. And at Chelsea, he, after playing as a centre forward, he dropped into centre midfield. And as you know, it's Chelsea, there's a lot of talent coming through the door. There was lots of talent there. And he fell into a position where he became sort of like 8th choice in midfield. And he was struggling to get games. That was from the age of like 14. And we just sort of like kept positive and didn't sort of like look to sort of like challenge the club and try to look to get out. And then we had a meeting once with a coach that he had, John Harley and Frank O'Brien. And I spoke with them when he got to about 15 and we sort of asked them the question, what about if he played him right back? And they sort of looked at me and said, okay, we could give that a go. And, you know, Reece was completely against it. He didn't like it at all. But it was just something that I looked at and I thought to myself, you know, play there, because you're going to get games, and as you're going to get games, you're going to enjoy it again. And he was starting to fall out of the love of the game because he wasn't getting the games, and it was so important that we found a position for him to sort of like play and enjoy again. And then Jody Morris obviously took over when he was a first year as a scholar, and it just sort of like went from strength to strength from there.
That's class. And Nigel, we've obviously got a World Cup round the corner. Reece James is going to play a key part in this tournament. He's linked up again with Thomas Tuchel, his manager that guided him to a European Cup at Chelsea. How excited is Reece ahead of this tournament?
Obviously, it's his first one, and, with the setbacks that he's had, I know it's sort of like knocked him a little bit, and he's worked extremely hard to sort of be fit and to get back. So with the Chelsea medical staff and everyone around him and his own personal medical team that he has been first class to get him back ready for the World Cup. So I know him personally, it's been something that he's super proud to be out there with the squad and representing his country at this stage.
Well, Nigel, you mentioned there about his mental strength, certainly early on when he was not playing games and that he almost went to right back and then obviously found love again. Do you think those almost tough times when he weren't playing kind of made him stronger in terms of these situations we find themselves in? Certainly not now because he's obviously fully fit, but when he was missing game upon game, months upon months, do you think that period that he went through when he was younger is what's helped him out now?
Yeah, absolutely. He saw a lot of his friends and teammates sort of like being fast-tracked, playing up very early. He was one that, was one of the last ones to get a pro contract. I remember it was probably him and Conor Gallagher in his age group that were the two of the last ones to receive anything. And so the early sort of setbacks, what he had very young, I'm sure that has shaped him in where he is today.
Absolutely. Also, we've got to talk about Lauren as well. She's been nominated for the PFA Player of the Year. It's been an incredible season for her. And also, when you speak to certainly people from the women's game, I happen to know quite a few of them, they all tell me about their natural ability. She's probably one of the most naturally gifted footballers they've ever seen. What a year she's had.
Yeah, it's been an incredible time for Lauren and her development, and how she's pushed on. And one of the good things, they both sort of like work off each other and they give each other so much encouragement and support each other. So it's amazing to see from how she's developed as a person, and she's grown with it. Because she was always a little bit shy in herself, but she's sort of like come out of her shell in her game, has really improved, working, not just going forward, but tracking back, all around. So I've sort of like been really proud with her on and off the pitch.
Nigel, it's actually amazing. The fact that you've got two children who are both representing England at a World Cup, it's absolutely unreal. How were they as children? Did you know that they had this talent? How competitive were they with one another when they were kids? There's 2 years between them in age, isn't there?
They've had their older brother, Josh, who was a young player at Fulham and Reading. So the environment that they've always had, like Joshua's friends and Reece's friends and Lauren's friends. So around the house, there was always like like 10 or 12 boys playing football, and Lauren was like the little sister to everyone, always competing with everyone. So the environment that was set from a very young age was always very competitive and enjoyment. So it's just how they've sort of like grown into it.
No, absolutely amazing. And a reminder that Nigel James, father of Reece and Lauren, is supporting Play Their Way, a national campaign funded by Sport England, which is calling on coaches to adopt child-first coaching to give children more positive and enjoyable experiences of sport. Nigel, thank you so much for finding the time. Really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Rory and Darren. All the best.
Cheers, Nigel.
Cheers, Nigel. Thank you so much. Cheers. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Next up, we're going to be bringing you the very best of talkSPORT.
you've played a lot of football in Thailand, of course. Are you there now? Or are you in LA? I can't work out where you are.
I'm in LA at the minute, but I played the last season in Thailand.
Yeah. What's the community out there for you? How much of a sort of not an eye opener was it? But you can't really prepare for that unless you're out there, right?
You can't really prepare for it, and you don't really get used to it. There's not a time in the whole season where I thought, right, now I'm used to the conditions. It's how can I adapt my game to be able to survive? Am I going to have to time my runs? Am I going to have to dribble once and then keep it simple? Am I going to have to defensively? Am I going to have to know when and where to press? Because I can't go every time. And I think that's what the England guys are going to have. It's a similar conditions, probably not as hot, but that's what the guys are going to have to figure out over the two friendly games is I can't go every time. I'm going to have to choose my moments. And I think we saw in New Zealand, even like the Anthony Gordons and the Ollie Watkins, who are go, go, go. Even those guys were choosing their moments. Ngamoa played very well on the right, but he didn't go 1v1 every time. He kept it simple sometimes. And that's the way it's going to have to be.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it, Andros? I remember going to Hong Kong quite a lot pre-season tours, and you can't breathe, can you? It's like you're trying to sprint and you feel like you're going to like pass out from not being able to breathe. Do you think that the manager will have to make sure he's using the squad in this World Cup? You know, in those games where you're playing in those conditions, even the game, when we get to the last 16, if that's Mexico.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
This is the driver talks about myself down Bent and Rory Jennings.
Oh, mate, you're putting me to shame.
No, I just saw you filling with your earpiece. I thought I'd help you out.
Mate, well, I appreciate it. You did it really well. Let me see if I can emulate you. Ready? You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Still to come, we'll be asking if Cole Palmer needs to leave Chelsea. But just quickly, Real Madrid are reportedly set to join the race for West Ham midfielder Mateus Fernandes. Feyenoord have sacked Robin van Persie as their manager after just 16 months in charge. Now, though, it's time for this.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Oh, yes, listen up. The FIFA World Cup kicks off on Thursday, and talkSPORT are sending you and a mate straight to New York City to see England live with Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. We're talking about a trip to watch England face Panama, return flights, hotel, match tickets, and spending money, and it's all taken care of. Plus, Adidas is throwing in the official try-on the match ball and a special pair of fresh football boots. Ready to get that winning feeling? Here's how to enter. For your chance to enter, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. You simply head over to talksportwin.com or you text the word WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. this Friday. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Now, though, it's time for this.
Natural Rory, easy. You right there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm all right. Just
taking a breather.
Just having a minute.
It's froze.
I tell you, what is your? Yeah, I was just patting myself on the back there. What was your reaction to that? I'd love to have that. I'd love to win that prize, wouldn't you? England, Panama. You get the match ball, the try-on match ball. You get to go to the game. You get spending money. You get flights. You get accommodation. It's a dream.
When you enter them.
Maybe I will. Could I legitimately win it? Would they?
No.
It'd feel a bit like insider trading. Yeah, but no, I'll be up for it. I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to rank these from 1 to 3. Thin crust.
Bro, you got. Yeah. Listen, right, let's kick things off with a trip to the USA. Here's our transfer reporter, Ben Jacobs, tucking into some deep dish pizza.
I'm going to pick it up in one go and try and put about half of it in my mouth. It's probably going to fall to pieces. It's very hot. I'm making a massive mess of this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have one of these here. Oh my lord. That is unbelievably spicy. I haven't even swallowed it yet. Oh, wow. I can't believe you've made me eat these jalapenos. My eyes are basically bleeding tears.
No, seriously, right? Why have they put his table near the toilet?
Yeah. I tell you what, suddenly these questions make sense.
Yeah.
Rank these 3. 1 to 3. Thin crust, deep dish, stuffed crust pizza. If you were ranking them, what are you having first to last?
I'm going deep dish, stuffed crust, and then thin crust.
You're not a thin crust man?
No, I'm not, no.
No?
No.
If talkSPORT had an eating challenge, who's your money on? Who wins it?
Bit of a disrespectful question, that. Listen, I can only go off of what I've been told. So probably the moose, maybe. Of what I've been told.
I'll tell you what, don't forget, Ben Jacobs is in Los Angeles following the United States men's national team, and we'll hear from him later in today's show.
Sticking with the food, let's switch gears to England's 1-0 win over New Zealand. Here's a lighter moment from your commentary team, Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce.
It was almost the other side of the hoardings when he caught that and then moved the ball like he was a baseball catcher. He reframed it just to try and persuade the referee that it hadn't got over the line, and he must have done so by about 4 yards.
Well, listen, he went that far back into the crowd, he come back with the ball in one hand and a bag of nachos in the other.
Oh, what's your top 3 cuisines by country?
France, Italy, England. France, Italy, England, in that order.
England get into it, yeah?
Hey, we got loads of Michelin stars. People are very different.
Malaysia.
People are very snide about our food.
Malaysia, incredible.
Yeah? What's your top 3? Malaysia number 1.
No, Jamaica.
Jamaica number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
France 2.
Yeah.
Italy 3.
Okay. What happened to Malaysia? You're just bigging them up. They haven't made the top 3.
Living nice. What's your ultimate match day meal?
I'm a traditional man.
Oh my, here we go.
I'm a traditional man.
What's your pie?
Pie.
Beer.
Pie, beer, Bovril, half time. That's me. That's me all over.
We had, what about salt and pepper chips?
Yeah, I like them.
Salt and pepper chicken?
Yeah, I like that as well.
All right.
Mate, I like everything. I can be quite greedy in a restaurant.
If you were to cook a meal for the entire Drive production staff, what would you make? We want 3 courses, starter, main, dessert.
Do you want to know something? Do you want to know a secret?
What?
I've never cooked a meal in my entire life. Ever.
Do you know what? Says a lot about you, that.
I've never, ever... Do you cook?
Yeah, of course I cook.
Mate, I lived at my mum's till
I'm 42 years old, man.
I lived at my mum's till I was 30, and then I live with my wife.
It explains a lot, that.
Can't cook. Can't cook, won't cook.
No,
you could cook?
Yeah, man.
I cook porridge in the morning, that's it.
You can't cook?
Not a thing. Not a thing.
So, okay, you got kids, right?
Yep.
Wife still?
Yep.
Like,
I'll take...
touch wood, she's not, but
yeah.
She's away.
I would go to... so many things would go wrong for me to end up cooking a meal. I'd go to my mum's first, I'd go to my nan's second, I'd order something, I'd go to a restaurant. At no point, like, so many things would have had to go wrong for me to end up cooking.
Your little one comes and says after 11, Daddy, I need you to cook me something. I can't go out. You need to make something.
I'd give it a good go. There's nothing I wouldn't do for her. But she would also know, she knows my limitations. I think it's a good quality.
How'd you
recognise your limitations.
boil an egg?
I've never I think I know the process. I've never done it. But I think I...
How have you got to this? Oh, you're same age. How have you got this far?
Why would... do you enjoy cooking? I get no buzz out of it whatsoever. I don't think there's ever an occasion where cooking is better than not cooking.
Yeah, no, I like to get my hands in there, marinate it all up, get all the flavours and that spices. Yeah, I like to see the end product.
Okay, let's ask you the same question then. If you were cooking a 3-course meal, starter, main and dessert, what are you cooking for the Drive team?
Prawn cocktail to start.
Ooh. Yeah, just go back to 1980.
Yeah, quick a lot. At least I can cook, mate. My main would be steak, pommes frites.
Pommes frites?
What about that, yeah? And then my dessert, listen, I'm going to agree with the traditional part. I do like a, not cookie dough, not traditional, cookie dough with ice cream.
Okay.
Oh, it's unbelievable, that.
That is quite
Or apple pie. Remember that every single game from this summer's World Cup is live across the talkSPORT network.
And let's finish things off with some O'Hara and Cundy action. Jamie found out that Cundy took his Ange mask all the way to his holiday home in Italy.
Cleaner's seen that. The cleaner has seen it.
Yeah. He looked at the Ange mask and gone,
Oh,
what's going on here?
what kind of a weekend is this?
Yeah. What's going on here?
I know.
Got Ange mask on.
Come on. Romantic weekend away. Ange made it.
That's amazing, isn't it? That is absolutely amazing. I love it. Which face should Cundy get printed on his next mask, do you reckon, Darren?
It's got to be De Zerbi, right?
You think get De Zerbi?
Yeah, it's got to be, because Spurs at some point will have a little bit of a wobble. It's got to be De Zerbi.
Yeah. If you were only known for one thing other than football, what would it be?
Probably my cooking skills, chef.
Yeah?
Probably.
Well, if you weren't a footballer, what would you have been?
Probably an actor.
An actor?
Probably, yeah.
What sort of an actor?
Oh yeah, I'm talking to an actor, aren't I?
What sort of an actor would you be, Darren? What are we talking here? Are we talking like treading the boards? Are we talking like
action stuff?
Action.
Yeah, I could have.
So you'd be like the Vin Diesel.
Not Vin Diesel. What? Fast and the Furious 35. Whatever. Everybody's out now. Probably.
It's your imagination. That's just a mailbox, but there is one on this side of the bus.
See, look at that. Maybe a bit of voice work action, you know.
Absolutely love it. I love that Cundy took that on holiday. Is there one thing that you always take on holiday?
Yeah, my Bibles.
Do you?
Yeah.
Can't mock that.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't mock that. I've got nothing to say.
Higher power, bro.
No, fair enough. Fair enough on that one. Fair enough, Darren. I'll tell you what, a reminder that the boys, O'Hara and Cundy, are back on the Sports Bar from 10 p.m. tonight, taking your calls, where they're also going to be joined in the studio by the star of Ted Lasso and massive gooner, Cola Bocchini.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's you.
He was the captain, right? Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Did you watch that?
Yeah, unbelievable show.
Yeah.
Do you not like it?
Never seen it. Never seen it.
Honestly.
Not watched one episode.
Have you got no kitchen in your house? Don't own TV. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, I've never ever watched it. It's an American take on Premier League football. Is that right?
Yeah, but it's here. Like, you know it's over here, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's
No,
good.
honestly,
Just not for
if
me.
you ever invite me around your house, or I'm telling you,
We'll have a great time.
I'm not coming.
We'll have a great time. We just won't watch Ted Lasso.
Nope.
Trust me. We'll have
What? I'll be starving. Can't watch TV. Brilliant.
Don't forget that you can find all our shows on the talkSPORT app, where you can swipe between talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, and all of our sister stations, so that you never miss a moment. Next up, we'll be discussing the future of Cole Palmer. This is Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent.
Did that tree just say Doofenshmirtz?
So what do you think of Chelsea keeping hold of him? How important is he to Chelsea?
Well, he's everything. He's the star. He's only got 7 years left on his contract, so the power might
Time is running out. He's probably sweating over it right now.
The power might be with the owners, but actually it's not fully with the owners, because if you've got a player who so desperately wants to get out, that's a toxic situation to be in. Now, hopefully the owners will have made that statement with Xabi Alonso, and then will make more statements with the players that they bring in. So not just to Cole Palmer, but to Marc Cucurella. You have to say he's one of the best left backs in the world. You have to, as annoying as he might be, and I get it, even coming from a Chelsea angle, you want him in your side, not against you.
You do.
Enzo Fernandez, one of the cleverest, technically brilliant players, because he's not quick, but the way his first touch, his second touch, his pass awareness, and he gets into the box. You know, that Chelsea number 8, who someone else used to do that back in the day. He's not quite as good as Frank, but he can do it. This is an absolutely key summer for Chelsea. in terms of not just trying to bring those good players in now to challenge for the Premier League and Champions League, but actually not lose your best players that you've got already.
They finished 10th, as you have mentioned already, a season way below standards for Chelsea. I mean, what will be the minimum then, do you think, that Xabi Alonso has to bring to Chelsea this season? Because we do know that Chelsea managers don't last very long, but at some point they're going to have to stick with someone, surely.
Yeah. I mean, look, when they brought Graham Potter in, I think they put him on a 5-year contract. I think their idea is to try and have someone for a long time. I know they've done that in America with the baseball. It's taken.
Is a scandal brewing over football fans who thought they were heading to the World Cup having previously approved visas cancelled. A number of Scotland fans say that's happened to them. Kenny Smith spent nearly 20 grand on his trip, but told talkSPORT his visa's now been cancelled and he isn't sure he can get a new one in time.
I really don't know. I mean, I asked my local MP and John Swinney on Friday to help me out here, and I don't know if they can do anything. I don't know if anyone can help, but right now it's not looking good.
Elsewhere, it seems Christian Eriksen's future as a professional footballer will be down to him. His second on-pitch collapse has led to speculation he may retire, but experts say the success of the device that re-regulated his heart yesterday suggests he could carry on if he wants to. Professor of Sports Cardiology at Manchester Met University, Anil Malhotra, told us Eriksen must consider he does appear to be in a particular minority of people.
Exercise is obviously very good for you. It's one of the best things you can do. But in a small number of individuals with certain underlying heart conditions, intense exercise can sometimes increase the likelihood of abnormal heart rhythms.
Now, you may remember Pep's "Come on, you Irons" moment. Well, now it's Serena Wiegmann's turn.
Football's unpredictable, and of course, beforehand, everyone will think that Spain will win that game. But we have seen so many unexpected scorelines. Of course, I'm hoping for that.
That's the Lionesses boss backing Iceland to get a result against world champion Spain. If that happens, England can go back to the top of their World Cup qualifying group, meaning they would avoid a playoff by beating Ukraine. Now, ex-England captain David Gower says Jofra Archer doesn't merit inclusion in the team for the second test with New Zealand. He's told talkSPORT he was too impressed with the attack at Lord's to make changes.
I mean, they all bowl well. It makes Ollie Robinson look like the finest bowler ever to play Test cricket. And likewise, Atkinson, another 5 for Tongue bowled beautifully. Stokes hardly needed. The spinner completely redundant.
And Declan Rice is officially England's vice-captain for the World Cup. Remember, you can hear England versus Costa Rica, their final warm-up match before the tournament begins, live on talkSPORT on Wednesday.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent.
Absolutely humongous.
We'll be heading live to Orlando to speak to Adrian Durham, but now the biggest show on earth is just 3 days away.
The same familiar story has come back to haunt England again.
Well, we have now been consistently back in the matches that matter, so it's the last step that we haven't been able to do.
If you don't get the right person in place, I think some of the really good work that Gareth's done could go out the window.
To win it with England, it is a dream come true for me, so if there's still anyone doubting, we have to convince them on the pitch.
Unbelievable! A Jude Bellingham overhead kick.
We
have an amazing crop of players.
With England, we've always got a chance.
It's Kane and it's shown!
He is the most important player for sure. Goal scoring is just relentless.
Saka turning it onto his left foot. Oh, it's a beautiful goal.
The reason why they went for Thomas Tuchel is not to maintain the status quo, was to win.
We will try to go all the way. We will try to win this tournament.
We're going to win the World Cup, Bex?
Absolutely.
And so to the next instalment of the story.
Oh, what a buzz. It feels so good to say this. There are just 3 days to go until the World Cup in the USA, Canada and Mexico. Every single game at the World Cup will be live across the talkSPORT network. And remember that Drive will come live from the USA once the knockout stages get underway. Now, though, one man who won't be at the World Cup this summer is Cole Palmer after a difficult season at Chelsea. Former Chelsea defender Scott Minto was alongside Natalie Sawyer this morning, and he was asked what's behind Cole Palmer's dip in form.
I also think perhaps, and people made fun of him, but he's missed Nicholas Jackson. I think Nicholas Jackson, he misses a lot of chances, but he can cause absolute havoc and makes fantastic runs for Cole Palmer just to look up and play him in behind or slip him in, and the way that the relationship that they had. So there's a number of reasons perhaps why Cole Palmer hasn't been at the form that he was in the previous years. But I also, even though I would have picked him, I think Cole Palmer will look at himself and say, I haven't been my very best, and I understand that Tuchel's done what he's done.
See, it's interesting there that Scott Minto has said that he kind of understands why Thomas Tuchel has done what he's done, and maybe Cole Palmer can also understand why Thomas Tuchel has done what he's done. I don't understand it, Darren.
Why?
I think Cole Palmer should have gone.
Yeah, he's not been good enough.
He's not, but when you think about what Cole Palmer has done in his career, when you think about the fact that he scored for England in a Euros final, England are playing in a Euros final in Berlin against Spain, Cole Palmer on the score sheet. I appreciate that form has to dictate the England side, but there has to be an element of it that is about reputation. There has to be an element of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have made a mistake here, because if it isn't going well, look, if it's going well for England and Thomas Tuchel's game plan is working, then I think we're going to be fine. But say we need a Hail Mary. Say we need that answer from the bench. Yeah. There's no Phil Foden to choose. There's no Trent Alexander-Arnold to choose with his creativity. There's no Morgan Gibbs-White. And there's no Cole Palmer. That, to me, could be so damaging.
Yeah, but you've got Morgan Rogers there, you've got Jude Bellingham come off the bench. I mean, I think there are options there, but listen, Cole Palmer's numbers over the years have gone down significantly. 25 his first season, 15, incredible. Then 15 goals, 11, decent. 14 and 5 this year, just gone. So they're still decent, but when you walk in the door day one and you hit 25 and 15, it's like, oh my goodness. So, and listen, I never thought he was going to stay at that level, but the decline's there.
Okay, yeah, but Darren, look, you played the game at the highest level. How much of the form that Cole Palmer has demonstrated and the dip that you have just spoken about there, how much of that can be attributed to having a season where Chelsea are managed by Callum McFarlane, Chelsea are managed by Liam Rossini, Chelsea go through the tumultuous period of sacking a manager on New Year's Day?
Yeah.
How much of Cole Palmer's dip in form can be traced to a club that have been in total disarray for a season?
Yeah, but there have been players that have played in kind of similar situations of disarray, but have still kept their own standards high. And again, listen, he's a wonderful footballer. Like some of the things he can do is incredible. But when there's chaos around you, there have been top players that have managed to almost keep their cool. Okay, I don't really want to use him as an example, but you have to give him the respect he deserves. Bruno Fernandes, right? That Man United over the years has been chaos. He's been the one that's gone, all right, I ain't letting my standards slip. And he's come out of it now, and you go, fair play. Why can't Cole Palmer do that? I know there's been all this kind of changing managers, changing systems, but he's been the one that could do something.
So do you think that Thomas Tuchel got it right? Do you think it was fair enough to leave Cole Palmer out of this squad?
I would have taken him, and I would have taken Morgan Gibbs-White. But I can understand why Thomas Tuchel opted not to, because his form this season just hasn't been good enough. And he has shown us moments, even this season where he's not been at his best. There have still been games or moments where you go, oh my goodness, Cole, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, do you know it? Just in terms of doing that, in terms of doing the unpredictable, in terms of that like mercurial talent that can win you a game, I feel like Cole Palmer is England's answer, and I think it's a mistake not to take him.
I do think you're overinflating that. That is England's answer.
But he's done it every single time.
No, but you're talking about one moment.
No, I'm talking about on the biggest stage. Whenever Cole Palmer has been given an opportunity, so a semi-final in Dortmund against the Dutch, he provides the assist for Ollie Watkins.
Lovely.
Then in the final, then in the final he scores.
Yeah.
Think about what he did for Chelsea for Chelsea in the final that we played. I know it wasn't the biggest occasion, but
the Club World Cup.
Yeah,
He was brilliant.
in the Club World Cup he did really well against Paris
Oh,
Saint-Germain.
it was
I'm
unbelievable.
talking about in Poland when we beat Pellegrini's side.
Yeah.
Right, we beat Real Betis. He also changed the game there. He scored for Man City in the Super Cup. He won Man City a European trophy. He scored for Man City in the charity. Like, I just feel like on the biggest occasion, Cole Palmer turns up, and not having him could be so detrimental.
Yeah, but it's almost like we've had him before. It's not like he scored and we won, and you're like, how can you leave him out? I mean, we ultimately still didn't win that final, but I understand what you're talking about. But I just think sometimes it can't just be about what have you done for me lately. It's not even about Lifetime Achievement Award.
Done for me lately.
Yeah, it's about what have you done for me lately. and this season by his own. And this is what I make the argument for Foden. Foden at Manchester City for year upon year upon year has been. This season it was below par, and I think was it last year he won the Pre-FA Player of the Year?
No, it was the year before.
Right.
It was going into the Germany
Right.
Euros that he won it.
So 2 years on the bounce. Foden's not been he's not been at his scintillating best. But even for England, I've never really looked at Foden and gone, yeah, I can understand why there's this desperation to get you in the team.
Okay, what about him finding form then? What about him rediscovering himself to be the best that he can be?
Yeah.
Do you think the new manager Xabi Alonso is the answer to get the best out of Cole Palmer?
Well, listen, I think you've got to take injuries into account. I understand he's been injured for a lot of this season as well, so maybe he's still trying to get over that. I understand that. But I don't think moving away from Chelsea is the answer. I mean, he's been there, 3 years now? Again, in totality, really good numbers. Really, really good numbers. Just get back to that level, and I think Xabi Alonso will get that out of him. He's worked with some top players, Xabi Alonso, the likes of Wirtz and people like that. I look at those two as like similar type players, little geniuses.
I think it would be a bad time to leave Chelsea because it feels like under this ownership, it's the first time that we've actually appointed a manager of pedigree, a manager of standing in the game with a foothold in the game, and a manager that is capable of taking the club back where they belong. I think that it would be a bad time to leave. But
I don't know why he'd want to leave. Chelsea's a big club. I get it, he's a Man United fan apparently, but as you said there, proper manager coming in, not head coach.
No, manager.
Proper manager. The Chelsea fans, I'm guessing, love him.
But do you think the allure of where do you think this rate? Like, I appreciate the size of Manchester United, right? Huge football club, huge allure. If Manchester United are in the market for him, the Manchester United in the Champions League, when you're at Chelsea, who aren't in the Champions League, is it impossible to say no to United in this situation?
Well, potentially, because as you said, he's a United fan. Probably, it's a bigger club, but also as well, Man United. Because how long has he got left on his deal? 6 years.
Yeah, it's a long deal, no doubt.
Well, boy, they better stump up 120 mil.
Yeah.
Because if I'm Chelsea, and even if Palmer says, "Listen, I want to go to Man United," all right, cool, 120 million, and not a penny less.
I just don't think we can let him go. I really hope that we keep him, and I think that Xabi Alonso could be the man to help him rediscover his form. This is Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. But I do have a bit of breaking news this evening. An ECB statement says they are currently investigating a breach of team protocols following the conclusion of the first men's test against New Zealand after Ben Stokes and Gus Anderson were present in a nightclub in the early hours of this morning. What does that mean for the England captain? talkSPORT's cricket editor John Norman joins us next on Drive.
let's talk about the World Cup then in a bit more detail. England, of course, touched down in America ahead of the competition. Let me get your views on the squad. Lots of players that a lot of people should have been in it weren't. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Gibbs White, Adam Wharton, Trent, of course, Harry Maguire being another one. What have you made of the squad and the players that aren't going?
All of them players are the real technicians, Adam Wharton, Foden, Cole Palmer,
Trent.
And Trent. So my opinion personally is the majority of them players should have gone, because I think that holding the ball in a World Cup is the most crucial thing, and being that team. But Thomas has gone the other way. Thomas, you can see he's picked by the team he's picked. It's going to be a sort of low to mid block, and he's going to look for counter-attacking football, right? So personally, I would have done it differently, but I like the fact that he's picked the type of players for his style of football that he thinks going to do it. And like, we're still a week gone from the squad, and we're still talking about the players not there. Almost like, listen, nobody would have picked now 26 players that Thomas would have picked. So we'd all have a disagreement somewhere. It's done now. It's history. Like, this is the way we're going. And I like the fact he's a strong enough.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent, in partnership with Giacomo. Style and brands for every man. Still to come, we'll be heading to Orlando to speak to Adrian Durham. But just quickly, Christian Eriksen has said that he is at home with his family and he's feeling good following his collapse against Ukraine. And Jose Mourinho is set to be confirmed as Real Madrid's new head coach after Florentino Perez was re-elected as the club's president. Now, though, let's turn our attention to a bit of cricket, because in the last few minutes, the ECB have confirmed that they're investigating a breach of team protocol involving an incident at a nightclub in the early hours of this morning. Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson are the two players concerned. That follows the conclusion of the first test against New Zealand. Let's get more on this now as talkSPORT's cricket editor John Norman joins us. How are you, John?
Well, I was hoping that the next time I came on to talkSPORT to talk about cricket, we'd have a bit of good news to talk about, because it has been a painful 6 months. And Ben Stokes has cut a frustrated figure in the lead up to this test match, even in the aftermath of what was a more than welcome victory at Lord's. Still very, very edgy and seemingly unhappy. And he has been unhappy with some of the press coverage that came off the back of the Ashes, but he has been unhappy with some of the behaviour of some of his teammates across the New Zealand tour that preceded the Ashes debacle and also the Ashes campaign. So to be on talkSPORT right now and unfortunately talking about another more actions off the field, which unfortunately are going to be bringing negative headlines, is not where I nor Ben Stokes wants to be.
John, I'm guessing, listen, the reports are being caught in a nightclub, right? But is it because of what happened with the Ashes and how badly that went that why this all of a sudden now for Ben Stokes has become a massive story?
Well, as you can imagine, the majority of the cricket press right now are exchanging messages, trying to get to the bottom of exactly what has occurred. And this story has just broken. So there is a little bit of guesswork here, but certainly the question was asked of Rob Key, the managing director of England Cricket, whether the curfew was remaining after the back end of the Ashes and throughout the T20 World Cup, which took place in Sri Lanka and India, and he confirmed that it is. Now, does a curfew still exist between Test matches? We're not sure, but if it doesn't, then I imagine that this message that's been sent out on behalf of the ECB wouldn't have reached us about 10 minutes ago. The other thing is the incident discussed, which occurred at some point in the early hours of this morning. So the night of the morning after that win at Lord's, involving Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson, trying to find out what has occurred there. So is it more than just staying out late and breaking team curfew, breaking team protocols, or have they been present when something's gone down? I imagine that will be released to the press at some point if it hasn't already been leaked. The fact that it's been passed to the cricket regulator was a body that was introduced in 2023. And essentially that is to allow independent appraisal of behavioural situations in and around the England cricket team. So we will find out a lot more in the next 24 hours, I imagine. But one thing's for certain, it's yet more negative headlines for a team that had desperately hoped to shrug off the 6 months of criticism that they've received with that win against New Zealand at Lord's.
Well, John, as you said there, we'll probably know more in the next 24 hours because you only got the news, 15 minutes ago, as you just said there. But if they are found to be guilty and that they broke curfew and they were out, what type of punishments are we expected to see now? And obviously it's still early, but what do you reckon could be the worst case scenario for these two players if they are found guilty?
Worst case, that would be guesswork. But, when you're looking at the wording of a press release, it does often give you clues. Now, the selection of the squad for the second test, that doesn't need to be mentioned unless that there is a chance that these two players, bearing in mind Ben Stokes is the captain, is going to be scrutinised. We are currently seeking further information. This is directly from the press release. We are currently seeking further information, and an announcement regarding the squad for the second test will be made in due course. That is where this could go. If the information that the ECB receive, and we're still very much in the, it's only been 12 hours or so since this incident has occurred, but the fact that they suggest it's serious enough that the captain of the England cricket team may not be selected for the second test, along with a guy who's just taken 5 wickets in an innings, suggests that potentially, this could be seen very dimly, and the punishment could be quite severe.
God, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed there, John Norman. Huge news, this.
Yeah, especially after the performance in the Ashes, and obviously that was marred by reports of the behaviour and the drinking, but for this to come out now, it's just... I do wonder, unless we'll have to get John, obviously, once we've got a bit more news on it and stuff, the culture maybe, is there something wrong with the culture?
It does make you wonder. It really does. That's right. We've just been discussing it there with John Norman. In the last few minutes, the ECB have confirmed that they are investigating a breach of team protocol involving an incident at a nightclub in the early hours of this morning. Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson are the two players concerned. Really big, and we will keep you abreast of that situation as it develops. Now, though, it's time for this.
The Squad Table on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
Yes, that's right. talkSPORT has partnered with Burger King to create a 2-part series featuring Steven Gerrard, Teddy Sheringham and Emil Heskey to share their most memorable World Cup moments and the experiences that shaped them. Here's a short clip from the first episode.
Remember that time you used your phone with Capello and you threw the plate?
It was
everything in his way.
Yeah,
he threw everything. I would have to say Ronaldo. Myself and Owen Hargreaves were challenged with trying to nullify him. He had me and Owen Hargreaves up the wall that day.
Would you have liked it to have been done like the Brazilians do, where they sit in your living room and they announce it on television while you're watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if you were a regular, yeah. Not if you were like borderline, you're sitting with your family and it's a no.
No.
Oh, tears everywhere.
Wait to celebrate again. All right, I'll put the kettle on, yeah?
If you could sit down over a Burger King with any player or manager from your World Cup, who would it be and why?
One of the first sessions was crossing and finishing, and it was Bex and Nev on the side, Lasso, and it was a right footer, either McManaman or Ant, and putting them in for you, Shearer, Andy Cole, and I'm just sitting there thinking, wow.
God, that really does sound brilliant. You could head over to talkSPORT's YouTube channel now to watch the full episode today. That's all thanks to Burger King.
The Squad Table on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
Do you know what? Them burgers look good, though, innit? In the box. Jeez, I wonder if they had a couple of those afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, they do look very tasty. That is for sure. Now though, we're taking your calls. Does Cole Palmer need to leave Chelsea? 03717 223344.
He's the sort of player, Andy, that you can't really look at age because he could play at this level for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Do you think that long?
Yeah, I do.
31, you think he could be playing?
Doesn't rely on his pace.
No, he doesn't, but it's very rare you get great players. Even look at Mo Salah, right? Last season before last was... Yeah,
you know
well, I did look at Salah and thought his pace had gone. His just whole game went all of a sudden overnight.
Yeah, I think when I watched him, he didn't look as quick, but I feel like Bruno Fernandes, do you know what I mean? You'll find a position for him, even if his legs do go a little bit. He's just that talented. His passing range, mate. Do you know what I mean? Set pieces.
Reportedly has a £57 million release clause for European clubs. That means he can't throw him, say go to Man City. Should the likes of Real Madrid be all over that? Is that a bargain?
I would. If I'm Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, any club, maybe not PSG, that they've got a very good midfield. But if I'm Manchester United, I'm saying not a chance. 60 million, 70 million, I'll say no. I feel like he's that good to what Manchester United have done in the last season we just had. And going forward, who are you going to buy to replace him?
Yeah. Well, my view earlier on was get the 57, put 43 to it and go out and get Elliot Anderson. Then you're starting again because he's a young kid.
Of course, yeah. But Elliot Anderson, Bruno Fernandes, two different players.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Do you know what I mean? You need to get Elliot Anderson as well as keeping Bruno Fernandes. And how much money will it cost you if you sold Bruno Fernandes? You might get 57 million, but maybe you miss out on Champions League next season.
Point. Yeah.
So
this was, just to remind you, this was Bruno's quote last November. He said, from the club side, I felt a bit of, if you go, it's not really that bad for us. More than hurting. It makes me sad because I'm a player. They have nothing to criticise me for. The fact that Omar Barada came out and didn't give it the old, yeah, he'd definitely be here. We'd like him to stay. Of course we do.
Yeah, it's very odd because maybe the club might look at it and say, like you says, 31, 57 million. It's a lot of money. You can rebuild with using that money for another player, but I just think it'd be ridiculous.
Okay.
A top cardiologist has told talkSPORT it's not yet clear whether or not Christian Eriksen should now retire. That's following his second on-field collapse of his career yesterday.
Historically, doctors were very keen on telling patients what to do, whereas I think now there's been a change in autonomy, and quite rightly so, to take into account the number of factors, including the patient wishes, including his cardiac status, including the choices of those around them.
That's Professor of Sports Cardiology at Manchester Met University, Anil Malhotra. Denmark's national team Dr. Morten Boesen says Eriksen is doing well and that the expectation is that he will be discharged soon and can return home. Former teammate Andros Townsend says Eriksen's unique mentality needs to be taken into account.
Nobody knows what goes on inside the heads of anybody, let alone a footballer who's worked so hard to get to where he's got to, who's almost died on the pitch and he's come back to play for Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So it's difficult to know what's going on in his head. But yeah, of course, at the moment, there is more important things to think about.
And Steve Harmison says England deserve credit for the character and adaptability of their performance on a terrible Lord's surface against New Zealand.
Players were getting hit in the gloves, or a couple of people got hit in the shoulder, and a lot of balls kept low. When it's like that, it's dangerous to the players as well as Test cricket.
There's plenty more at talksport.com.
Listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Now, following us from 7 p.m. tonight, Adrian Durham hosts Kickoff live from Orlando alongside Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot ahead of the World Cup getting underway this week. And would you believe it, I have Adrian Durham with us right now. Good evening, Adrian.
Rory, Darren, how you doing? So good to be on the show live from Orlando, where England play their final warm-up game before the World Cup starts. That's on Wednesday afternoon, when there is actually a storm forecast. We'll see if that happens.
Adrian, I must say, now this is almost a heads up to everybody who is listening and not watching us on YouTube. Adrian, you have really adopted life in Miami. You look fantastic. Miami Vice for Adrian Durham.
I just wanted to blend in. I've even got a cream jacket. I haven't got with me today. I will wear it for you at a future date. But the Miami, listen, you can't come to Florida and not blend in. So I thought this is it. And I know that my colleague who's on the show with me later, Stuart Pearce, is a big lover of my latest fashion.
Absolutely love it. Adrian, what did you make of England's performance on Saturday?
Yeah, it was really good, wasn't it? It was a training game, and it was a shame. Listen, I love covering England. Okay, it's a privilege to do the job, and I treat every game the same, whether it is a big World Cup game in the tournament itself or a friendly or whatever. It's always a privilege to be covering England, but that game tested that theory to the full, because it was effectively a training game. I was really impressed with New Zealand, actually, bearing in mind they've been battered 4-0 in their previous game by Haiti. I thought they gave us a game. They were organised. They were solid. They defended well. And England didn't really show any kind of drive or ambition or dynamism in the game, and that's exactly what they're going to need to do. I think that needs to happen on Wednesday. Otherwise, people will be thinking, "Hang on a minute, we're going into this World Cup with no hope whatsoever." So I think Wednesday against Costa Rica could be a little bit different. But fair play to New Zealand for what they did. England need to buck their ideas up a bit.
Hey, what did you think of Rio Ingamoa? I thought he'd done really well considering it was his debut.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I said after the game, I did a piece for talkSPORT's Insta, 3 things we learned, and one of them was that Thomas Tuchel's actually dropped a bit of a clanger by not being able to pick Rio Ingamoa. I mean, it looks crazy. I actually said that of the wingers available, he's probably the one that's in the best form. And it's based on that game that he was so dynamic. Now, he might have been that way because he knew he had nothing to lose. He knew that, getting injured wouldn't mean he's out of the World Cup. He can't be picked for the World Cup. So that might have played a part in it. But bearing in mind, I know Saka and Madueke have won the title with Arsenal, and fair play to them, but they've won it playing in a certain way. And it's not the way that's made them the England internationals that they are. Saka's not played well for some time now. Madueke, I think even Arsenal fans have got doubts about whether he's got a future there going forward. So I don't know if Rio Ngamoa would have started for England at the World Cup. I'd still think there's enough in the bank for Bukayo Saka to start for England at the World Cup, but I would love to have had him as an option to come off the bench and set the place on fire, because what we've seen is, over the years, teenagers at tournaments, Rooney, Owen, they can actually do electric things because they're not scared, and we're missing that opportunity here.
I completely agree. Adrian Durham, thank you so much for finding the time, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers. And remember, you can hear more from Adrian Durham coming up straight after us at 7 p.m. tonight. Right, let's stay in the USA because talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs has been following the United States side as they prepare for the World Cup starting later this week. And he can bring us all the latest from their camp.
Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to Irvine, California, where the US men's national team are based. Press conference is about to get underway. We're in a nice giant tent, 35 degrees outside, and 5,000 plus people are coming for a special community event very shortly. But of course, transfers are still ongoing as well, and a few lines for you. Elliot Anderson, Manchester City are expected to make a second bid. Manchester United, though, haven't ruled themselves out of the race yet. Nottingham Forest's perspective is they'd like to keep Elliot Anderson. Evangelos Marinakis can be a bit of a wild card in terms of negotiations. They'd like a figure around the fee that saw Declan Rice leave West Ham United and join Arsenal, but Manchester City's valuation is lower. Man United yet to place a bid. Of course, Elliot Anderson is busy with the England camp. I can also tell you that the former Manchester United midfielder Casemiro has now agreed broad terms with Inter Miami. There's still a few logistical hurdles, though, to complete. LA Galaxy hold the discovery rights, meaning the expectation is Inter Miami need to negotiate a compensation package with them. And just finally, Enzo Maresca still set to join Manchester City, but there's compensation required. Advanced talks are underway between the parties at the moment, and that's why there is no formal announcement. But Enzo Maresca will be the new Manchester City manager, and he's already been part of summer planning, including endorsing the proposed signing of Elliot Anderson. We'll keep you posted from the US men's national team camp here in Irvine, California. Some press conferences to follow, and keep across not just our on-air output, but our talkSPORT World Cup YouTube channel as well.
Thank you very much there, Ben Jacobs. Some interesting stuff mentioned there, Darren, but we should talk transfers.
Yeah, go on, talk to me.
Elliot Anderson to Man City, but apparently Manchester United haven't yet given up hope.
Yeah.
I think Manchester United should be doing all they can to get Elliot Anderson. I think he is exactly what they need.
Do you know what he is, right? But would you go for a Man United over Man City?
But, Manchester United over Manchester City is a tap-in, isn't it? It's the easiest decision that you'll ever make.
Over Man City? Even though Man City are in a better place?
They're not really in a better place, are they?
You having a laugh?
What? But Pep Guardiola leaving, Enzo Maresca going in. There is an unknown quality. Bernardo Silva leaving. John Stones leaving. Potential of
Man City right now are in a better place than Man United.
There's not that much. There's not that much between them, though, is there?
I mean, you got to think what Man City won the last. Do you know what I mean? They've been a juggernaut.
Yeah, of course. But it feels like there is a new era dawning for Manchester City now. We've seen Enzo Maresca at Chelsea, and yeah, he did all right, but I don't really know what people saw in Enzo Maresca to say that he could follow in the footsteps of Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, Maresca's been more successful than Carrick.
I suppose on some level he has.
What level? That's pretty much every level that you're talking about.
No, but Enzo Maresca won the Club World Cup, which is fairly insignificant, and the Conference League, which I don't even really think Chelsea fans should recognise as a legitimate trophy.
But it is.
But it's not, is it? Like, on the way to winning that trophy...
So that's a Palace fan?
No, but it's different. It's different. Crystal Palace fans should... And I'm not being sneery towards the trophy from their perspective.
You definitely are.
No.
You're 100%... Darren, you're laughing at Palace fans.
No, I'm not laughing at Palace fans. Not Palace and West Ham fans, I think they should celebrate it until the cows come home.
Like Chelsea?
We shouldn't.
I get that.
There's different rules.
No, I do get that.
We played teams on the way to winning it that I'd never heard of.
I know. No, listen, I fully understand that. But no, I think Man City right now... Like, if I said to you which team would win the league out of the two, who will win the league next out of the two Manchester clubs? City hunt all day, every day.
Yeah, but they're not the same question. Who would you rather play for? You'd always rather play for Manchester United than Manchester City, wouldn't you? The history of Manchester United. The footsteps that you're following in.
I get that. But still, Manchester City right now are in a better place to win things, if you're a player, win things, than United.
I still think you'd rather play for Manchester United. The Stretford end singing. Listen, you can't look to the producer for backup. I'm right. I'm right.
How are you right? Man City had a down year last year and they won 2 trophies.
Playing for Manchester United is something that loads of kids all around the world dream of. Nobody's ever dreamed of playing for Man City.
I get that. But to win things, you're closer to winning something with Manchester City now than you are Manchester United.
by what? 5-10%?
More than that.
You think?
Yeah, look, compare the two clubs over the last couple. I know you're in a better place now, but no. Man, come on now.
So if you were Elliot Anderson, you'd be going to Man City?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll keep you across that one as well. I would be very surprised, I think that if Manchester United come in, they start really trying to tempt Elliot Anderson, I could see him going to Manchester United. And if he were my mate, I'd be counselling him to go to Manchester United.
I get it. Man United are a much bigger football club. You'll never get no argument from me when it comes to that. But right now, Manchester City, and even the way Pep's left them, are in a better place.
Fair. We'll keep across that one. Casemiro to Inter Miami is almost done. Going to be playing for Brazil at the World Cup, Casemiro.
Yeah.
It's a big hole for Manchester United to fill this.
Do you know what it was? 'Cause it almost felt like the start of this season that it was like, come on, when's Casemiro going to go? And this season he's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Big goals, big character, leads by example. And that is a big shoes for Manchester United to fill. But I think
it's a problem for Manchester United, isn't it? It's the midfield. Like, when you look at how they're going to, next year they're going into the Champions League. I think that Michael Carrick would like to have them competing for the Premier League. And you can see a world where it could happen, apart from the midfield.
Yeah, I think, listen, Manchester United, they've got, I can't remember, they've just nearly signed someone, haven't they? Manchester United, midfield player, like a holding midfield player.
From West Ham. I think that one's still developing.
But I definitely think for United, that central area is key, because I love Kobe Mainoo, I think he's brilliant. But I do think they need more legs in there in terms of other players that they can get.
If the midfield ended up Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Elliot Anderson, do you think that could potentially be one of the best midfielders in the league?
Yeah, on paper you go, wow. Yeah, strong.
It's capable of winning a league title, that midfield, isn't it?
Not on its own, no. They need other pieces around.
No, but they have the other pieces, don't you? Like,
I think they need another centre half.
They need another centre half.
Yeah, I'd say full back. Who's their right back? Dallo, yeah, decent, but
if they were to go out, I feel like to solve the problems at Manchester United, if you go out and sign Elliot Anderson and then a top class centre half, you're in a really good position, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, but it doesn't always work like that. Look at Liverpool, for example. Last summer they bought Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak. I remember sitting here at the start of the season going, if they get Isak, game over.
Game over.
It doesn't always work like that.
No.
So they might get Elliot Anderson, fair play to them, and it still doesn't work.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. But I think that if Manchester United were to really go for it this summer,
I think you support United.
I don't support. I reckon
the vibes I'm getting. Like he's a United fan.
I think it's the least controversial thing ever said, that you'd rather play for Manchester United than Man City.
No, but the only reason you're saying that is because Man United, which they are a much bigger side. But the last 10 years, Manchester City, in terms of where the club is, are miles ahead of United.
When you were leaving Charlton, right, and you had loads of heat around you, and the club, if you were in that situation and you could have gone to Man United or Man City,
this is a different time. Man City back then.
But say it was now. Say you had the choice now.
Where the two clubs are now?
Yeah, where would you go?
Man City. Okay, why did Haaland go there then?
Because of his father. There's a fatherly, there's a paternal thing going on. Nobody in their right mind chooses to play for Man City over Man United.
Right now they do.
Completely.
Well, where have you got the best chance of winning something big out of the two clubs?
I think Enzo Maresca and Michael Carrick are capable. Both capable.
Stop saying that. Which one out of the two clubs?
Maybe Man City.
There you go.
But it doesn't make up for the Stretford end and following in the footsteps of Beckham and Ronaldo and Best and whatever else.
Listen, this is not lifetime achievement award. I get that. But currently, as we sit right now, if I said to you who's got more of a chance next season of winning the Premier League, you're going to say City. City have had a down year and they still finished second.
I think everybody in the world agrees with me, apart from you and Jeff from California, who was just texted in and said City all day, Benty.
Yeah, 100%. If you want to win now.
There we go. I think that you and Jeff from California are both completely and utterly wrong. But you are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Still to come, One Word Billy joins us from the studio for the end of show quiz.
think you also have got to give so much credit to Elliot Anderson, because it's almost like, I still feel it's almost like you could play a Rice at 6, you could play a Bellingham at 8, and then a Morgan Rogers at 10, or Cole Palmer. But because Elliot Anderson has done so well for club and country, now he's nailed that spot.
Yeah,
Declan Rice is just £100 million snip, and then so then now you're talking about Jude Bellingham, either Jude Bellingham or Morgan Rogers. Now, what I would say is, if we are to win the World Cup, I think 2 players, maybe 3, because I chuck in Jordan Pickford as well, have to be absolutely superb. So Pickford, Harry Kane, and Jude Bellingham. I think Jude Bellingham is truly world class. But the way that the group has gone, and the way that Thomas Tuchel has enjoyed the way that Morgan Rogers has played, I would have no problem at all if Jude Bellingham was on the bench in the first game against Croatia and Morgan Rogers plays in that one. Now, you can argue, and I understand, and people will be arguing, well, in the last couple of months, perhaps Morgan Rogers' form fell off a little bit. In the game against New Zealand, Jude Bellingham's performance in the second half was perhaps better than Morgan Rogers in the first half. But again, I'm not reading anything into the performance in that particular game. I think Thomas Tuchel knows his 11. I don't know what it is, and I'm fascinated to know whether that's one spot for me. The another one is on the left, and another one is who's going to partner Mark Guehi. I think the rest we can pretty much pick. But in terms of Jude Bellingham, again,
get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Because this summer, you and a mate could be jetting off to watch England versus Panama in New Jersey live at the FIFA World Cup 2026 with Adidas, including tickets, flights, accommodation and more.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could be soaking up the incredible atmosphere at the FIFA World Cup 2026. For the chance to win every football fan's trip of a lifetime, enter now at talksport.com/win.
Said the whole world, mate. Obviously not. Big Stephen Graham, just drop me a little message. City all day long.
Interestingly, there's a lot of text messages coming in. City over Manchester United all day long and twice on a Sunday, says Dave, the Newcastle fan up the tune. Lots and lots of people seem to be agreeing with you
because
on this.
Where City are right now, I think they know that Man United are a bigger club than City. No arguments. But right now, if you want to win, City, you've got a better chance of winning the Premier League next year than United.
I just can't rationalise this. I'll just always play for Man United over Man City, and I feel like everybody should agree. I really do. You are listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent, in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Following us from 7 p.m. tonight, Adrian Durham hosts Kickoff live from Orlando, alongside Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot ahead of the World Cup getting underway this week. Now, though, it's time for this.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yes, listen up. The FIFA World Cup kicks off on Thursday, and talkSPORT are sending you and a mate straight to New York to see England live with Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. We're talking about a trip to watch England face Panama, return flights, hotel, match ticket, and spending money, and it's all taken care of. Plus, Adidas is throwing in the official try-on match ball and a pair of fresh football boots. Ready to get that winning feeling? Here is how to enter. For your chance to win, head to talksport.com or text WIN to 83338. Text cost Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0345 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. this Friday. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a TalkSport promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Now, Scotland midfielder John McGinn has been speaking to the media ahead of their opening game against Haiti this weekend, and he was asked how the squad are adapting to the conditions in the United States.
I think it feels different to last week because you're starting to get used to it. Like, last week, your hands are on your knees. I think you see clips of England training, those boys are the same. So it's about trying to adapt as quickly as possible. But when the real stuff starts on Saturday, it doesn't matter what temperature it is. Scotland at a World Cup, they can turn it up even more. We're just absolutely delighted to be a part of it after so long. And if we can just keep raising those standards every day, we'll give ourselves the best possible chance of doing something we haven't done before.
Do you know, I do like Scotland's team. You know, the one team that they play against Bolivia, like Shankland, Adams. Obviously, you got John McGinn, McTominay, Ferguson in the middle of the park, Christie. Got some nice players, man.
Yeah. It could be all right, couldn't it? They just have to beat Haiti. That's the key.
Yeah.
That first game against Haiti is such a must-win game.
It's huge.
Do you think they'll do it?
Yeah, I do. Question: who do you play for, United or Chelsea?
Who would I rather play
Yeah.
for? I would rather play for Chelsea, obviously, because I'm a Chelsea fan.
Okay, cool.
But I would understand why someone else would say Manchester United.
Just like you'd understand why people would say City.
No, I don't understand why anyone would say City. Nobody dreams of following in the footsteps of Steve Lomas. Everyone dreams of following in the footsteps of David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo, Jules Best.
Not De Bruyne, Haaland, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Vincent Kompany.
What would you rather have? Would you rather have the Etihad in your name or the Stretford end?
I'd rather have a couple of Premier League titles under my belt.
One of us is right here, and I'm pretty sure it's me.
No.
Right, I have some good news, some very good news. One word, Billy has joined us in the studio.
Hey, good news, is it?
Really good news.
Cheers, Rory. That's the nicest intro I've ever had onto this show.
Oh, mate, welcome.
Bill, how are you?
Yeah, great, thanks. All good, yeah.
Do you know what? That could be my favourite part, that.
Yeah.
Jack just cutting you off.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Bill, you're here for the end of show quiz. What have you got for us this evening?
Bit of guess the intro to finish the show on, lads.
Hey, you.
Benny weren't happy when we played this the other day. Weren't happy with
What?
the songs.
Okay, what did you stitch him up?
Yeah,
I
the last one's always that some road one.
Don't Stop Believing by Journey, I think it was.
Oh, really? You've got that. Surely any Sopranos fan gets that. No? Fair enough.
So you'll hear the opening second or so of a song.
Okay.
And you just have to tell me the song and artist for 1 point.
Yeah,
Easy.
That's what I have to do.
Simple as that. Rory, would you like to
No,
go?
I'd like to go
I would
first.
love to go
No,
first.
Bill,
I would love. That's really kind of you, Bill.
No, that's fine. Rory, you will hear your first song. Here we go.
I'm spinning around by... Who sung that? Get out of my way. Spinning around by maybe Kylie Minogue.
I'll just let us play on.
No, are you trying to get this Basement Jacks? It's Basement. I know it. It's Basement Jacks.
Joe.
They started giving me the hold up.
No, stop the thing. Stop the music.
Basement Jacks. I've got to get the victory there.
Is it guess the intro or guess the song?
Jack did play a lot of this, but
Thank you very much.
that was a tough intro. There wasn't much going on.
Come
there.
on, Bill.
The intro was misleading. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, Bill.
What's
The whole song.
What's the name of the song, Rory? Just if you
You
don't.
used to be my Romeo.
It's just called Romeo.
Yeah, Romeo. So if you say the word Romeo, you win. Where's your cut-off point?
I can't give you it, Rory. I'm afraid.
Jack,
It was harsh.
The whole song.
Good effort though.
It was very harsh.
Benny, over to you.
No, I need more than that, Jack. I need a good 30 seconds.
No,
Like Rory got.
no, that was more than enough.
Audio production.
Oh, that is 1738. That is a Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap. Yeah, that's annoying.
And it's called oh no, it's called I can't remember the name of it.
No.
No, I know it's Fetty though.
Is
1738.
Trap Queen. That's called.
Trap Queen.
I never would have got that.
What's a trap? What is a trap queen?
Not sure.
Maybe we should move on.
Not sure we should get.
Trap queen.
Yeah, maybe, no, Rory, we leave that. Next one for Rory.
Can you tell me? Do you know the answer? Can you tell me after?
Yeah.
That's your second song. Right?
That is La Bonita by Madonna.
You're all over the game. He said it with his chest as well.
Yeah, go in. Go, like, present your opinion really, really factually.
No, that was Toto Africa.
Ah, that's a shame. Oh yeah, I would have got that.
Great tune this.
I'd have got that.
If you got 30 seconds.
Yeah, if you give me 30 seconds, I'll definitely get it.
What's the score? Still 0-0,
I think
isn't
it's
it?
0-0.
Yeah.
Zip.
Benny, round two.
I'm ready. That is Passion Fruit by Drake.
Yes. On the
That's
board.
impressive.
It's a banger, this tune. It's a banger.
Oh, you're giving Drake some credit here?
Do you know what? I've been listening to quite a lot of him recently.
Have you?
No.
No.
I just don't mind that album.
1-0 Benty after 2 each.
That's a shame.
Rory, over to you.
Can I hear it one more time? I think I know that.
Jack.
Don't know.
No?
Why'd you just
Pass.
freeze, bro?
Because I was really studying it. I was really listening, hoping to find it from within.
Don't stop.
Yeah, I didn't know whether this was your sort of thing. Fleetwood Mac, Rory.
Oh yeah, no, I do like a bit of Fleetwood Mac.
That was Don't Stop, Fleetwood Mac. You're yet to get on the board here, Rory.
Yeah, this is pathetic.
Yeah.
Well, you say I'm yet to get on the board. I'm claiming Basement Jacks as a victory in the.
We played the whole song.
Half point, maybe. Benny, you can take a 2-point lead here.
That's minor, isn't it?
Here we go.
Dench. It's actually called Festa, and it's by our good friend Lethal Bizzle, aka Lethal B.
There's one more word in the title.
No, it's just called Festa. Skank.
Yeah.
Mate, you are quite good at this game.
You might see me in a Rari.
2-0. Rory, I think you're playing for pride at this point.
Right, let's see. Can I
Got
get
a
this
couple more
right? And
each.
then you'll see me in a Rory. Yeah, that's the streets. Blinded by the lights.
Correct.
Hey, back in the game.
Very good. 2-1 after 4 for you, Rory.
Yeah,
So you're
Mike Skinner, yeah?
Yeah.
Mike gets one to win, though.
Benny, to wrap it up.
Here we go, Bill.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, for God's sake, that can't be that's
Hey,
ridiculous. That's
right,
one of the most
outcast.
famous intros in the world. Like, you can't have that.
Do you know what's well hard?
Do you put this together?
I put that down as one of your songs, Rory.
Oh, lucky, mate.
And Jack has played it out as...
Yeah, hey, ya.
That's appalling, Jack.
Hey, ya, Outcast.
Jack's showing favouritism to the...
Big Boy and Andre 3000.
That's appalling.
Rory, do you want one more? to
Yes,
try
I
and-
do.
All
Yeah,
right.
just for a bit of
45
pride.
seconds, yeah, Joe? 45 seconds, Joe?
Benny, you win, but Rory, for a bit of pride, you got one more.
Yeah. TLC Waterfalls.
There we go.
TLC. Lisa Left Eye and all them.
Yeah.
And all them.
Lisa Left Eye.
God rest their soul.
Lisa Left Eye. T-Boz.
Yep. Chili.
Chili.
Oh, Rory.
Yes.
They're going, yeah? Wow.
There we go.
I think that was a 4-2.
But a moral victory for Rory because Darren cheated.
Yeah.
How did I
there you
cheat?
go.
The moral victory was mine.
Call it a draw.
Wait, you got Outcast. That's why. Outcast as an intro is ridiculous. The most famous intro, most recognisable intro in music history. Absolutely appalling.
Just got, Joe, just got here. Just yapping, innit? Just got here.
Yapping. Just mate, that's my career, just yapping. You've been listening to Drive with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Don't go anywhere because the wonderful Adrian Durham has Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot alongside him next, and they are live from Orlando. Don't miss tomorrow's drive time because Darren Bent has a very special guest for us. Remember what happened at the Euros?
Yes.
And then we saw the scenes last night. And it was quite harrowing. It was. I mean, it's awful to ever see anything like that. But when it's someone that it's happened to them before, and they've made that comeback, thankfully they had the pacemaker fitted.
Yes.
For me, when I heard the news and then I was watching it on the telly and listening to talkSPORT, the fact that eventually Christian got up and walked off was just fantastic.
Oh, of course.
Right? And I think that was the huge difference. And sorry, Gabby, I just think. My views. I mean, I'm guessing he won't be allowed to play in the World Cup, right? That would be obscene, especially with the